Hello and welcome to Golden Paddling Pool 330. I'm Satsu and I'm here with Carney and we are looking here at our very rare, very golden Paddling Pool 330. We're looking at Ask Me About My Pickup Server versus Title Disruption.
Absolutely. I'm excited to announce that we're actually going to be getting right into it. Let's take a look at what these two teams have to offer us today. Now, we've seen Title Disruption before on stream, but I do want to take a look at what Pickup Server has to offer us. I'm seeing a Headed, I'm seeing a Sloshing Machine. We've got a pretty standard for Pickup Server. We've got a pretty standard comp looking like, pencil, shot. I do want to point out we've got the Range Blaster, though, and not, like, custom range. This is vanilla.
Yeah, honestly, it's very rare that we see a Range Blaster these days. I feel like it was kind of a little bit more common back in the day, but perhaps people seeing a little bit of more use in a V-Blaster. You see two members going down already and Ask Me About My Pickup Server, while Title Disruption takes the opportunity to move up and see if they can go forth towards this knockout.
Absolutely, and like you were saying, they are looking to maybe get that lockout position on Ask Me About My Pickup Server, but Pickup Server coming in with the Booyah Bomb, getting a bunch of paint on the zone here, and Title Disruption does end up going down, which means that Pickup Server is going to be taking the zone back from Title Disruption, a 33 tick point penalty to their name, but it looks like that machine is, not the machine, the Slosher is just absolutely doing the lion's share here, flanking from the side, getting control of the zone yet again. Title Disruption moves forward towards Pickup Server's spawn area.
Yeah, Title Disruption not letting up here. You see they are moving forward with those strikes. Anka doing a really good job of just ledging below there before going down. I think that you obviously see that there's a lot of AoE on the side of Title Disruption. I think that's serving them really well here because with Hagglefish, when you get pushed back, it can be very difficult to have these AoEs chipping away at you. And you see Juno getting a really solid double there with this Range Blaster, showing why maybe it should be getting more use than we've been seeing lately.
Absolutely, but Pickup Server does end up getting control of the zone yet again. That Sloshing Machine is looking like it's trying to get a pick on some of the members of Title Disruption here. Along the side, we can see Fries on the Splatana Wiper, just doing a really good job of keeping that zone painted. The Tri-Strikes are now going to be coming out. The Booyah Bomb being popped right in that area, but that quick thinking and jump out means that member of Title Disruption does end up saving their own skin. 2 down on Title Disruption now, and it is in control of, Pickup Server is in control of the zone now, and they are getting very, very close to Title Disruption's lead. They just got to keep the paint on the zone, and just a couple of ticks later, they're going to be looking like they might be able to overtake it if Title Disruption cannot get in the zone fast enough.
Yeah, and we have those strikes going out, but I think with no follow-up, that's not going to be enough to just cap the zone, but also make Title Disruption keep their lead. I think that there's just a lot of skirmishing happening right now from Ask Me About My Pickup Server. Finally, Juno picking up that cooler, and right now it is do or die time, and they said we are going to do, because Title Disruption, with I think 3 ticks left for Ask Me About My Pickup Server, is finally able to cap that zone and get that control. So now you see them kind of getting that paint down, biding their time. They still have a minute 40 left before 2 of them go down to McFlurry's Fury in that Zuka moment, really, that we just saw.
The McFlurry machine is absolutely not broken for Pickup Server. We can see that Title Disruption does end up going 2 down in the moment now, while Pickup Server is in control of the zone yet again, and now they are the ones looking to lock out Title Disruption from that retake in mid. They have a couple of ticks left before they're able to get past the single digits and into a knockout when a Title Disruption is not careful here. We are seeing that Title Disruption is giving it all they got. Less than a minute left on the clock now. 2 down on Pickup Server as Title Disruption takes the zone once again under their control, giving Pickup Server a hefty 53 tick penalty, but the lead disparity is still there.
Yeah, and you see, they're already down. They're getting really close to the single digits as it pertains to their penalty, and they're finally through it. So right now, even though it seems as though they have quite a lead, Ask Me About My Pickup Server is really going to have to make sure that they cap this and that they move in, because they could very easily lose this as it pertains to right now. You see, there is a bit of a fight for mid here, and with one of the members going down, that is going to be it for
Ooh.
Title Disruption. That is just able to secure the picks that they needed in order to put the bow on that game.
Title Disruption taking it in a knockout on their first game of the set. What an incredible play from both of these teams. And Pickup Server had it in the bag for most of this game, and then all of a sudden Title Disruption got it together. They moved forward with the rest of their team, getting a 3 down on Pickup Server and just easily able to chew through the rest of those penalty points, which is what you really want to see on such a volatile map as Hagglefish Market is.
Yeah, and you see there the game saving kind of cap there for the zone when Ask Me About My Pickup Server was able to lose that. And I think that is just kind of what spelled their death in the game. And here we're moving into the end. You see there are 2 down on Ask Me About My Pickup Server, that going down to 3, and Large Fries not able to put down the paint really needed to get that zone. So now I think we will be heading into Barnacle and Dime zones. And Carney, tell me your thoughts about this map mode, because I've always got, I have hefty thoughts.
You have hefty thoughts. I'm going to lay this down for you in simple terms. First and foremost, I am a V Dually and not 79 main. So I have a lot of really positive thoughts about Barnacle and Dime.
You would.
I think it's one of, if my favorite map modes. But you guys can hear about my favorite map mode if we end up getting to it, because we're going right into Barnacle and Dime zones. That text on the screen is correct. It is a match point. So if Title Disruption does end up taking this one, they are going to be knocking down the McDonald's pickup server. It is a McDonald's pickup server. Wait.
Yeah, I noticed we have McRib, Large Fries, and McNuggets in there as well. And it is apt that they are named after fast food, because you see they have been very fast in getting that zone and being able to move up. You see that Zuka coming out, not quite going to find anybody, but along with those strikes, they're finally able to get their hands on that zone, and 20 McNugget is going to go down as Title Disruption moves up to take their plat.
Now, if you guys thought Hagglefish Market was a lockout Abbey map, just wait until you see how Title Disruption is going to lock out Pickup Server on this map, because you see that little pit of death down there. You do not want to be down there when you're faced off against 3 really powerful chip damage weapons, and especially since Title Disruption just got their sippies up, and the tri-strikes are going to be coming out from the McDonald's server, but not to much avail, because Anka is still doing an incredible job of keeping the Pickup Server out of mid. That means that while they do end up going down, Title Disruption is going to have a hefty lead disparity now as they end up going 3 down and losing control. It is still a huge mountain to climb for the Pickup Server.
Yeah, especially because they've had a little bit of a delayed wipe there. I always say you never want to wipe on a place like Barnacle and Dime. It is indeed huge, and the sheer volume of fights that you're going to have to take to be able to take that area back is usually a lot, but those strikes definitely going to help them. You see that Title Disruption has already taken back their plat, which is going to be instrumental in them taking back the zone and stopping the march forward from Pickup Server. But with the jump-ins, they're kind of going down one by one. They can't afford to stagger here, but with Pickup Server already down to 30 into the 30s, and Anka just kind of walking in here, getting a free pick for nothing, and a cap seemingly alone. Anka is just on an absolute killing spree.
That was a triple from the bucket player on Title Disruption. Anka, like you said, doing a really good job walking in here, painting the zone because the Slosher is really good at that. And now 3 specials are going to be online soon for Title Disruption. They are chewing through those penalty ticks as we speak. And while McDonald's pickup server did end up getting real close to turning over that lead to them, it is not looking good for them now because they did go 3 down in the moment now. 53 tick penalty in order to get the rest of it down. But the paint is still on the zone for Title Disruption. A direct hit on McRib means that we're going down to the single digits, and Title Disruption sweeps the McDonald's pickup server in the set on game 2.
Yeah, wow. I think both times it was looking really close for both of those teams. I was starting to think that things were getting a little bit sticky for Title Disruption there, but I guess the boycott worked because Mickey D's struggling a little bit and unfortunately going down in an 0-2 there.
Yeah, you really hate to be on the forward foot for most of the match, and then call it a tsunami because Title Disruption just absolutely knocked them off their feet during that last match. Like, they were close. They were so close. And then the consistent just 3 down situation that they were in, and all of the picks that they could have gotten on Title Disruption that ended up falling short just really spelled out their doom there. Just wow, what an incredible job that Title Disruption did. They really were close to not winning that first match, but honestly, like, they were able to hold it together. They were able to move forward with the rest of like their teammates and also use their specials to their advantage.
Yeah, honestly, I think that the win condition there in that game was killing Anka. I think if they were just able to splat Anka and get that chess piece off of the board, it definitely would have been more probable for pickup server to maybe get that W, but Anka just couldn't be stopped, and I think you can see it in the score. That's why it ended in a 0-2. But I think we might be going to a bit of a break, if I'm not mistaken. So in the meantime, we will be back. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Golden Paddling Pool. Paddling Pool 330 is underway. You guys did just see our very first set of groups. We're going to be coming at you with Manatee Co versus House of Cards, but before, once again, I am Carney, and I am joined by my buddy over here. How are we doing today? Or maybe over here, actually.
Yeah, right. The whole camera. I feel like it's like when you're watching YouTube and they're like, oh, like, subscribe here. And they like never know where the subscribe button is. I wanted to make sure because we like just jumped into our first game, I'm sure people saw me and they're like, what is which is fair. You're right. Why am I dressed like this? And it's because, you know, this is Golden Paddling Pool. For those of you who don't know, the Golden Paddling Pool has like, the rules are a little bit different. I think it's like basically zones, and also they're a little bit rarer. They're every 10 that you do. And because it's golden, for those of you who have watched K-pop Demon Hunters, that is like sort of the main song. Everybody stream Golden. So I thought I would kind of raid my closet and do a little Mira moment. So it's just a K-pop Demon. That's why I look crazy on stream for absolutely no reason.
No, I think the people who will get the girls who know.
Exactly. Those who know. If you don't know, don't worry about it. Mind your own business. You know, you could just listen to the smooth commentary that we have coming up. But yeah, I thought stream Golden. It's a really good song. And I just wanted to be on theme for the Golden Paddling Pool. I'm so hyped. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. Like you said, if you guys don't know the rules of Golden Paddling Pool, it's basically paddling pool, but it's zones. It's only zones, happens every 10. Let's take a look at these maps that we've got upcoming for you guys. First off, we're going to be going to Robo Ramen, and after Robo Ramen, we're going right back to Hagglefish Market, and if we manage to get in a third, we will be taking over the Mako Mart here. Again, all on zones. It's all zones all the time, and it is, in fact, groups into single elim, so nothing crazy going on. No double elim here. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's get this shopping spree started. Of course, we're starting with Robo Ramen and then going into 2 shopping related places. So starting off, getting some noodles, taking a look. Interestingly enough, we have Manatee Co., which is coolerless, it seems like. Instead, they have opted to have their backline on that E-leader, hoping to get some really quick deletions in, which they have done. You see 2 members already going down from House of Cards, while TP kind of backing up, getting their cooler out. So right now, it seems as though Manatee Co. is poised to try and get a lockout.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, since we are on Robo Ramen zones, that elbow that Manatee Co. is trying to take control of is pivotal. Oh my god! And speaking of pivotal plays, Manatee Co. wipe out in the moment now. House of Cards just retaking the zone, and again, you need to aim for that elbow position in order to get a lockout on this map, because that is the defender's point. You have access to all of spawn from that scenario. Agent Owo taking out that head-in with the E-leader as the strikes end up going down. Manatee Co. takes control of the zone, but not for long. That re-slider coming out, but not looking like it's gonna cap it.
Yeah, Manatee Co., I think, doing a really smart pick by having this E-leader. I think, obviously, you usually have pencils in play, but having a lot of reach and being able to just pick people off like that, really useful in a place like Robo Ramen, especially you were talking about that elbow. You can just kind of point and shoot all the people that end up there. So now House of Cards has ahead of them, where they have to figure out how to get off their plat without being sniped or going down. You see there is a pick secured, 2 members down from House of Cards. So right now it's just extremely difficult for them to get into mid and start any sort of points in mid there.
And with that mid-air pick, it looks like like Manatee Co. is going to absolutely knock out House of Cards. Now, they did go 3 down right before the knockout. If that 3 down would have happened any sooner, then House of Cards would have been able to move forward in the zone and cap it before that knockout situation. But the Manatees were just too strong for House of Cards to take care of, and you know, like a House of Cards, they did kind of crumble under their own weight a little bit there.
Yeah, you know, but all go down in the face of a really well-placed slosher like we saw before. And let's face it, anytime you queue into solo queue and you see an E leader, you're like, oh gosh. Speaking of great deletions, we saw that Zuka also just getting some work done. It almost felt as though there's just no way to contest Manatee and Co. But now we are going to be heading into Haggle, which I would argue may be an even stronger place for leader to be if they decide to continue on with that E leader, setting up on that tent area, and then they just have a shot of anything that's in mid, in the zone, or past it. So House of Cards definitely going to have to put a lot of work in here to make sure that they don't tumble.
Absolutely. And like you said, Hagglefish Market, especially on that glass awning right before the zone, is probably like one of the strongest E-Leader maps that we currently have like in the tournament scene. So I'm expected to see a lot more instantaneous E-Leader deletions, but I'm kind of curious if they're going to swap from the E-Leader the vanilla leader to the leader that just came out with Crab, because as we know, Crab is like, is huge on Hagglefish Market. I'm pretty sure that leader has Crab, right?
It's like a V charger. It's a charger variant, the charger crab. I think the worry about that, of course, it's got that less range because it's not a leader. But at the same time, it is a charger. It pierces. It can instantaneously delete whatever is in its sight. And quite frankly, having a crab charger on that top right, on that tent, sure, it won't be able to reach as far, but it is still, I'd imagine, extremely oppressive to have this one-shot weapon just set up there, and then maybe you try and pressure it, and it crabs, and then suddenly it has like a billion more HP, just like when you're pressuring an E-leader, and then they just pop crack, and you're like, well,
yeah.
Like, I tried. You know?
You're like, alright, man. Go cracking somewhere else. Alrighty, let's
see if they're gonna be sticking here, and it's just going to be that regular leader gonna keep all of that range. But very wisely, I think we've seen a switch over to the new Rapid Blaster that has the cooler on it. This might be able to put a little bit more pressure on that leader. Of course, it does still have that range, but it can be very difficult to be chipped out by a weapon like that. So we'll see if that goes well for them. And so far, it looks like it is, because the leader is having to retreat.
Absolutely, that leader is going to be setting up right behind those cans, getting a nice pick on the TP there, as House of Cards does. Again, like you said, they had a really good really strong first push there, and as unfortunately the members of House of Cards do end up going 2 down, Manatee is going to be taking control of that zone and moving forward. And like you said, we do have a cooler again on House of Cards in the form of that frozen Rapid, but I do also want to point out that they have brought the Vimy to this fight, which is not really something that you'd see every day. I personally, if I was gonna go play a mini, I would pick the new mini. The Rattler mini is kind of insane.
Oh, the Zuka one. Yeah, no, absolutely. This is a bit of an interesting choice. Of course, you have been seeing more uses of hammer these days, so perhaps they're hoping to get a little bit of, I feel like you can really snowball into a lot of picks when you have a hammer, and of course you can throw that almost like a Zuka and still perhaps throw that at the leader. But honestly, I was thinking to myself that the win condition for House of Cards is making sure that Agent Owo does not get on that top left, and unfortunately they were not able to do that, so having a leader essentially spawn camping them there, they are going to go down in a bit of a speedy 0-2.
Woof. Speedy 0-2 indeed. Really, man. I mean, like, great job, House of Cards. You guys held on for as long as you could, and you had a really, really profitable, really good first push, and then the E-leader happened.
Yeah, I would argue,
that.
like, I can't even fault them. I think, first of all, Hagglefish is somewhere that can be so lockout heavy. The same is true of Robo Ramen. Retake is absolutely brutal on both of these maps, as brutal as capitalism, some might say. I think that is why that's like that, and even they may have had a stronger chance if they were able to make it to that third game, because I think the retake is a little bit more probable. There's more space for you to work on a place like Mako Mart, but we're just not going to see it because I think that leader was exactly as oppressive as it had to be to get out of there with a 2-0.
Yeah, leader players are scary.
They really
players are scary. As a frontliner player, leader players are really, really scary. The amount of times that I've like casted and I've seen a leader take down like 2 in 1 shot. Like, I think there was one that a couple of weeks ago I was casting for something and a leader player took down 2 people like in 1 shot 5 times during the set. And I was like, okay, cool. So if I ever see you in solo queue, I'm running the other way.
Good. I'm DCing. I'm going home because, like, I do not want.
You can leave.
No, I'm like, listen, I'm not putting myself through this. Self-love is DCing when there is a crazy leader in your lobby. Now everyone's gonna like see me and be like Sasu with the DT. But listen, I get the loss, you guys don't, so it's totally fine. We'll take a look at the bracket here. Of course, we're doing groups into single elim, and as you can see, so far it is I think projected that Frutella, who has I think they are going to the Splat World Championships, right? Getting in a few tourneys before they head on there. Gonna be heading to Alpha Bracket if all things turn out like they're supposed to, but we, in particular, will be looking at Distinct and Luck Burst.
Absolutely, and Distinct, you guys may be familiar with. We've had them on this channel, and like at literally every channel that I've commentated for, like time and time again, they're a regular in the Splatoon tournament scene. But Luck Burst, I really haven't seen much of them, if anything, so it's gonna be kind of interesting to see what they bring to counteract Distinct. Now let's take a look at what we have got for you maps-wise.
Yes, and as you can see, a little Urchin.
Urchin Underpass?
Yeah, I have seen a few teams that have really gotten used to and put Urchin Underpass zones in sort of their rotation of what they're good at. So I think that a lot of teams tend to like to run a pencil. They tend to be really stuck in what it is that they run. So honestly, Urchin Underpass, I think, inspires a different sort of comp that you're running, and you're seeing a Tri Nouveau on the side of Distinct, which you're not seeing many N-tries in competitive play. I myself really like an N-try, but I think that Urchin Underpass definitely needs a more skirmishy style of play, so we'll see if it works out for them.
Absolutely, and Distinct is going to be running pretty much what we expect them to run. We've got Mooj on the bow, we've got a Dread, we've got the Zimmy. It's pretty much standard Distinct gameplay incoming. But like you said, Luck Burst, not only do they have a Order Replica heavy splatling, but they also are running T-Tech, N-Try, and Carbon Deco. which is going to give them, like you said, a lot of skirmishing power for a map that is such a skirmish heavy. It is so skirmish heavy. These team fights are more important than ever, and you can see on the board that these two teams are looking to be at least pretty evenly matched because the lead disparity is not much here. But Distinct does, I feel like they are on a bit of a back foot here. They do end up wiping out 2 Luckburst, and now it is Luckburst's time to shine, getting into those optimal positions way ahead of the zone so that way they can lock out Distinct from spawn.
Yeah, but the thing is that I feel like one of the reasons it's so skirmish heavy here is because it just seems as though everyone can be everywhere all at once, and you see Kulbi going down but being promptly punished in their end lag by Nintendo here rather than Nintendo. Mooj trying to get out the paint to be able to cap, but it's just not going to happen up against those tri-strikes, and that is going to be a quick and speedy win for Luckburst in this first game.
Yeah, Luckburst 100-0 knockouts Distinct in our first game here. Again, skirmish heavy map. Everyone can be everywhere, and you really need to make sure that you're taking your team fights carefully and keeping your opponent on the back foot. And Distinct was on the back foot for most of that set, I feel like. They go 3 down and then immediately wipe out after everyone is back up. Like, that is just some bad luck.
Yeah, and Urchin, I feel like it just has to be played so much differently from other zones maps. Of course, we are going to be headed to Hagglefish zones, which is a mainstay. I call it the great equalizer because every competitive team should be aware of how to play this particular map mode, whether you're playing zones only or if you're in a regular tourney, like a paddling pool, but this is golden, of course. So it is zones only, but everyone should be prepared to play this particular map mode. Unlike an Urchin, I think that Luckburst is going to have to make sure that they're a little bit more locked in because things are going to be a bit more straightforward. And probably things, of course, can still get skirmishy, but like, even though we saw kind of a lockout, you did see that pick happen on the left because there's so many places to drop on Urchin. So not going to happen on Haggle. So Luckburst going to definitely lock in to try and see if they can get this 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're at match point already. It's best of 3, nothing too crazy. But I'm really excited to see where Mooj is going to be sitting because, as we know, Mooj is the bow player, and with the fact that Hagglefish Market is so open, I'm expecting to see Mooj like on top of that glass, right where a bow should go, shooting those explosive shots directly into Luckburst's face. Now, I do want to point out we have had a switch on Luckburst. We are not going to be going with that V heavy. Instead, we're going with the heavy deco, I believe, here, as it has the Kraken and point sensors. And speaking of Kraken, Kraken is already out and with a vengeance now, as Luckburst looks to try and wrangle the zone from Distinct. But with the incredible painting power of that Zimmy, oh my god, the Zimmy's dead.
Yeah, you see Bridget just absolutely eating it there, unfortunately, and gonna go down. It can be risky business being on a Zimmy, of course. You've got that kill power, you've got that speed, but also, people aren't necessarily threatened by you enough that they won't just Zuka you in the face. And you see already, I think that's Rafa there on that flank, trying to get some things going, and Luckburst in mass seem to back up, go back into their spawn and see if they can sort of regroup and get back in here. But you see those strikes going down, Bridget going down, and Luckburst finally getting back into main to get that zone, but we'll see how long they're able to hold on to it because there's just one down on either side.
Absolutely, and like you said, Luckburst did fall back during that push, which I think was absolutely the right play on that moment. Oh my goodness. You really hate to see that happen, but 2 down on either side now. Distinct is going to be in control of the zone still, and they are going to be working those penalty ticks. it seems like we have had a Trey Afro being traded out for that Tri-Nouveau, and we see now we've got the bubble up. The Zimmy is providing that coverage for the rest of their team that they need, but burst bombs aplenty are incoming as the Tri-Strikes are being thrown out as well. And I do want to point out, Heavy has the Kraken still ready to pop if they so need to. Distinct has a delayed 3 down now in the moment as Luckburst takes control of the zone, and Mooch smartly jumps out to preserve that Inkjet for when they need it most.
Yeah, and then also I have to shout out to Clara for really locking in and saying, listen, I'm not going to use the Kraken. You see that they still have it here. They're just really focused on painting and dodging those Zuka shots, but already 2 of the members are down. That's going to enable Luckburst to really move forward. You see they sort of jump the 2 that are on that top left, and right now they've got Santo on that Carbon, really ledging in that bottom left area and hurting them all to be on their plat. Bridget taking that tent momentarily before getting off there, and finally we see that Kraken that has been in the back pocket for all this time. A 1v1, Mooj winning, but it's not going to be enough with the final. Santa going to take that game in style, and that is going to be a 2-0 wipe, as well as I think an upset for Luckburst here in groups.
Absolutely. Wow. The last minute, cracking out the back pocket was just absolutely needed, I feel like, for Luckburst. But then they just, they wiped out Distinct during that last couple of seconds, which just absolutely added insult to injury here. Oh my goodness, what an incredible game. Incredible couple of games from Luckburst. They were really good during that first match, and while Distinct had them in the first half of Hagglefish Market zones, they grouped up together, they got Distinct on the back foot and pushed their advantage, but they didn't push it too hard. That's the key here. You don't want to push too hard, because otherwise you will get stranded. You will just absolutely you'll push your luck, and Luckburst did not.
Yeah, and I wow, that certainly was not lucky. I think that was a lot of skill, and like you said, that was a lot of tactics, I think, is why they were able to really make a way with both of those games, biding their time. I also have to give a shout out, and I see several people shouting out Santo in the comments. I think that very well deserved, because we saw a lot of nasty Zukas happening, and I believe those were coming out of Santo on that carbon deco roller. So definitely really strong work on that Zuka, but also just being really skirmishy, taking that bottom left so no one could drop for them right. They all had to funnel into their own plat, and then of course Clara, shout out to them for locking in and saying, listen, I'm not gonna waste the Kraken, I'm gonna kind of GG Kraken the zone and just time wait, and then when the time is right, they had it for over a minute, maybe a minute and a half. That takes some
it was a really long time. It was a really long time that they had that Kraken in that back pocket. Just the phrase GG Kraken on zones is not something I thought I would hear during this, but yeah, they GG Kraken on zones. And again, everyone in the chat is saying, like you said, Santo on that Carbon, just with the key Zuka picks, with the key Carbon flicks, just everything that you want to see in a Carbon, Santo was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just incredible Carbon gameplay, and they absolutely deserve the shout outs.
We are taking a look at that bracket there. We took a short look at Alpha. For those of you who weren't able to catch it, of course, we're looking at Envy versus Speed. I think there's an emoji I can't make out, our 11th seed. Let this be a reminder.
We just talked about this.
Numeric, please. So us commentators can have an easier time. But I think
we're getting right back into it.
Yeah, perhaps. we will be looking at another match before we head into that bracket, however. And let me take a look. You know, you always have Sendo Q open in the other tab, taking a look, and then you're talking to your friend and you're like, oh, this is happening. And then you're like, babe, refresh. So we are looking at O2 POV versus Blind Salamander Artists. We are still, I think, in groups for this one. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. And again, we're going to be taking a look here. Going right back to Robo Ramen zones on that first one, followed up by Mako zones, and then perhaps another Urchin Underpass? Perhaps? Maybe later? I don't know. We'll see if these guys can duke it out enough to get us our first game 3 of the set. And I believe that is an arrow spray! Not even the golden arrow spray. That is a vanilla arrow spray in this match right now.
Listen, honestly, first of all, this is not the first arrow spray I have seen in comp even like the last few weeks. I don't know what it is. I think that when it comes to zones, you know, that is crazy that we did see that Aerospray get a pick, though. Aerospray is very, of course, infamous for not being able to fight. So Breakdown doing the Lord's work by somehow getting that pick, I think, on that well string there. But after that wipeout, O2 POV, maybe trying to reverse the luck of their name, because so far it's looking like they have Blind Salamander Artists in a bit of a lockout, and those strikes are going to come out. Not gonna quite cap zone, but finally I think Blind Salamander Artists are maybe making a little bit of headway. Maybe not.
Yeah, but I do want to point out that Breakdown is I say that and they die. Commentators curse. I'm so sorry, Breakdown. But Breakdown was alive for most of that and fighting and getting assists on picks, and we see here that Custom Blaster just absolutely demolishing the Blind Salamander Artists with O2 POV knocking out 100-0. The Salamanders were unable to get a single cap that whole game.
Listen.
First of all, Arrow Spray, what the hell? Not even the Arrow Spray with the Booyah Bomb, which you would expect to see on Splat Zones, but no. The Reef Slider Arrow Spray?
Honestly, I'm not even that shocked.
I'm not mad.
Like Reef Slider, obviously you see a Reef Slider going down. We have a string that can do much at short range going down there to break down on that arrow spray. But like, I'm not so shocked here, because I would honestly argue, like, you see the, interestingly enough, they've when the other team, Blind Salamander Artists, they do have a Dreadringer, but that Dreadringer is not the V Dreadringer with a Slider, which is surprising to me, because like if you've been up against a Dreadringer or anyone on Slider that was born annoying, if you have the right gear, you can just cap the entire zone very easily. So when I saw that Reef Slider Arrow Spray, I was like, that's pretty much par for the course. They just want to be annoying the entire game and just cap over in one go, because you don't even necessarily need subsequent paint from your teammates if you're able to have the correct gear and just the correct gear and just Slider over the zone. But you know, Blind Salamander Artists is really gonna have to figure this out, because I know you'd be hearing swearing in comms if I'd lost that quickly to an Arrow Spray team.
Honestly, like you said, the right gear, aka special
the annoying gear.
Just the being annoying gear. But like, I'm still just kind of in shock about the Arrow Spray here, and the Arrow Spray is being brought back to Clash Blaster. Wait, Splattershot Pro? What the hell is going on?
That's an Innova.
That's a Nova. No.
So
hello?
Maybe this is, listen, O2 POV has definitely already overtaken the game. At the very worst, they can go down 1-2, but they are, I was gonna say not playing around. That's entirely untrue. It seems as though they are running, at the moment, kind of silly Billy weapons, but at the same time, I'm gonna say some of these weapons have their merit. You see Slime POV getting that pick with the Clash Blaster. You don't know this about me, Carney, but I am actually a Clash Blaster enthusiast. Clash Blaster, of course, not a great weapon, but it is a lot of fun to play, and it has one of the most goated kits in the entire game with that Splat Bomb and that Zuka. So you see two people getting caught in that Reef Slider, gonna go down, and right now they are looking to do some camping as they're already down to 15.
I'd be so mad. This is ridiculous. We are seeing like the silly, goofiest comp of all time. Just 100-0 sweep salamanders off of the set. Okay, hold on. Let's back up. Okay, so like, all right, they brought an Aerospray to the first match. Like, it's Robo Ramen Zones. You're gonna want a slider there. Like, come on, it's Robo Ramen Zones. But then they had the gall. They had the nerve to bring in not only just an Aerospray, but a Clash Blaster and a Nova, and just win like that. I'd be so mad.
Well, at the very least, O2 POV also had a pen, right? So they were
That's
like,
true.
Listen, like, we're going a little bit loosey-goosey, but we're not trying to be like, you know, like disrespectful. Like, we're not trying at all. We have a cooler, we have a meta weapon, and I was going to say a Nova has that jet. A lot of people who run a Nova,
That's true.
all three of them, all respect to the Nova players.
Nova mains.
In all three Nova mains, a lot of them will of course go the Nova because you can just cycle jets. And Jet can be quite oppressive on a place like Mako Mart. And then I gotta give the big ups to Clash, because honestly, when it comes to Mako Mart, AoE is very strong here, and I think that people, they go by the ledge, and then they don't expect the Clash. They don't see it coming. So I think that even though like these are unconventional weapons, I think they could very easily be sillier and worse. So they were a little bit unconventional choices, but not completely terrible. And I think that's why they were able to win. A bit of a skill diff there, but also picking weapons that are unconventional but still have their own strengths.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still like reeling over the fact that they brought like an Aerospray and a Clash and just... Sure. Why not? Let's do something silly next. Alright. I'm gonna need a break after that one, yeah. And that's exactly what we're going to. Let's take a little bit of a break and like reset from the goofiness.
The redheads will be back with you soon.
no more art. And as I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then stormy weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you. You're not surprised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are going to be jumping straight into the Alpha bracket. It is so nice to see everyone. I hope your break was really good. We're going to be going for speed versus last-minute pickup. So let's take a look at what these all have to offer. But before we get right into that, hello. I am Carney. I've been Carney since the beginning. And this is Satsu.
I'm Satsu, and that is Citrine.
This is
Little
Citrine!
kitty. But we are going to get right into it. Now that you have met the cat, let's meet the teams. Going into this, we're all ready looking at speed versus last minute pickup. Nothing too out of sorts except for maybe that paintbrush. Honestly, there's been a lot of discourse, I feel like, in general about paintbrush, but not really a lot of use in so definitely going to be looking forward to that, especially because this is the V paintbrush, the one that has wave breaker and not necessarily the one that has missile. But so far you see two members going down from last minute pickup and already points on the board for last minute pickup, as well as speed is being pushed back a little bit there.
Absolutely, and not just the paintbrush. Can I point out the fact that we've got a bamboozler on the screen right now? Can we talk about the bamboo in the room? Kenshin on that bamboozler, bringing the super chumps and the fizzy bombs to the mix. But like you said, last minute pickup is going to be taking control of the elbow, which means that speed is going to have to get forward into that zone as fast as they possibly can if they don't want to get knocked out.
Listen, Carney, you accidentally said bamboozler. And seeing as though this one has a bit of a bluish tint, I think maybe you might be coining that to start with. But you see Palkia here just getting some paint down in that elbow situation. And unfortunately, I think a bit of an unsuccessful flank in that gal going down. So speed going to keep their stronghold in mid and on this zone. But I think they've got specials ready. We'll see if they're able to hold on to this or if the crab is just going to be able to mow them down there.
What
is going on?
The Booyah Bomb just absolutely didn't damage the crab at all, basically. I feel like that could have killed that should have killed the crab rider, but hey, you know what? It's crab. It's invincible once you pop it up, basically, as a fellow crab main myself. Speed and last minute pickup fighting for dominance in mid now, but with the paint on the ground, it's just, again, really anyone's game here still. 40-17, the lead disparity is high, but speed has the well, they've got the speed to make up for it because they are just going directly towards the elbow underneath that area in mid, just trying to be as much of a menace as humanly possible. And with weapon choices like that, yeah.
Gonna happen, yeah. But you see two members are gonna go down in last minute pickup, but I think that they have they've got this crab, they've got people up to possibly like continue putting on that pressure, and it is going to happen. I think three members going down gonna mean that V-Dooley is gonna have to get out of there, make a bit of a tactical retreat by still trying to keep that space. And you see that last minute pickup now has that all important elbow area. Which is going to make it absolutely brutal to get back into zone. But with a really fantastic pick here from Panika, I think they're going to get that Booyah Bomb, send that out, and finally
yeah, we're in a really good spot here for speed. Just two down on last minute pickup. That crab is just in a ball trying to get rid of those chumps as much as it possibly can, but speed still has control of the zone, and like you said, looking to take over that elbow position. Now it is going to be made a little bit harder by the fact that last minute pickup has a 52 on their side. Because the 52 can place down walls in that elbow position, it's a little bit harder to push in, but it's not impossible. As we just saw here, speed is going to be painting that zone with all they got, looking to get a lead switch from last minute pickup. Last minute pickup does end up going down with a minute left on the clock. Speed ends up taking that lead under their belt. We are bringing it down to the single digits. Now last minute pickup has to do something to get all that paint on the zone, but with that, speed ends up taking the lead, the knockout, and the game one of this set.
yeah, wow. Quite quite an interesting game. A lot of back and forth. And I think a couple of internet problems perhaps. Take a look at this group drip we have going on for Speed. But looking into, yeah, you see there a little bit of misalignment with what's going on. I think maybe a little bit of weird stuff going on, but there you see last minute pickup really making that that all important push, at least for their score, I believe, getting into that elbow area, but it seemed like they just weren't able to keep it. The might of the bamboo, I guess, was just too much.
Yeah, you really don't see a bamboozler like at all in competitive play anymore. That's like the first bamboo I've seen in weeks, I think, while commentating. And I commentate almost every week, so it's kind of crazy that it's just, again, it's really an underutilized weapon, but the people who know how to utilize it really well. And with that, we are going right into our match point for our first game of, or our first set of the Alpha bracket. We're going to be seeing the return of that bamboo alongside those other weapons as well. And I believe we have switched to a decavitator.
Yeah, that is going to be super important, especially on a place like Barnacle and Dime. Like we were kind of discussing before, or I think we got a little bit cut off when we were talking about our feelings about this map mode. One of the things that's so difficult about here is its sheer size. Cannot afford to stagger, you cannot afford to wipe here because the amount of fights that you have to take is super plentiful. Of course, you have to get into your court, then onto your plat, then into mid, but you see Punk J already just making it difficult for Speed, but at the same time, 3 members going down on Speed. I think no, that is a delayed wipe, so now they have their work cut out for them because although Boozler, as you're talking about, is a little bit rare, people are not used to fighting it, so I don't think they quite understand the rage and what they're up against.
Absolutely, and with 2 down going on, last minute pickup, that pen is out of the question. Now Speed is going to be going forward, and the opposing charger on their side does have their chumps in their pocket at the ready, and as they pop the chumps, they don't pump the chops. I am so sorry. They pop the chumps directly into last minute pickups platform area, and now we can see Punk J doing a really good job of cleaning up those splat dualies. But again, last minute pickup going 2 down in the moment now is really not going to be good for them, especially since they had such a big lead ahead of Speed, and Speed is just making that into mincemeat at this point because we can see that the bamboo is just doing a really good job of being in mid and like pressuring the splat zones area with the fizzies, with the range of its weapon, with the chumps that it just never seems to run out of, to be honest with you. And as we're talking now, Speed is already catching up to last minute pickup with a less than 10-point lead disparity. Pickup has to work overtime now, or otherwise it's not looking good.
Yeah, but you know, they were able to get a really pivotal cap there for just a second, putting a hefty 51 tick penalty onto Speed, and now pushing them back a little bit. You see Palkia able to get out that cooler so their team can maybe live with this push, and they have deployed a lot of specials overall. The crab comes out, they have those chumps that came out as well, so finally they're able to get back their plat and continue moving. So I think that right now, last minute pickup, especially because they've got their members up, they're poised to be in a good position, but of course there are 2 minutes left in this game, so a lot can change, and we don't know if Speed is necessarily going to be able to hold on to this, especially because they have that pencil and they have that bubble, which you see being deployed as they move up. So Speed definitely, of course, had a strong showing, but they have a lot of disadvantages going into a lot of these fights.
Absolutely, and like you were saying, they really just need to pick up the pace and push into mid if they can take advantage of any sort of players down on last minute pickup. But It's not looking good for Speed now as last minute pickup works through those penalty ticks, and they are going to start increasing that lead differential as much as they possibly can. We're in the single digits now as last minute pickup looks like it's not going to be able to take that knockout from Speed. Speed takes control of the zone, one player down on last minute pickup in the moment, and that Bamboo manages to jump out to a bit of a precarious situation. Does end up surviving just barely now as we see they are beginning to paint once again, and the zone is just flipping back and forth between these two teams. But with last minute pickup being in control of the zone and most of the map at this point, that last minute is going to be absolutely pivotal for them because they need to keep control of the zone lest they risk an overtime win.
Yeah, and you see the Chumps going out with that Booyah Bomb, allowing them space and displacement to move up. Finally, they have their hands back on the zone, but they have a lot of work ahead of them, of course, aside from the fact that they have a lot of members down and they've lost the zone again. It's just like they're essentially going to have to get a wipe and start maybe from part one. You have that bubble out and just 5 seconds left. 2 of their members going down, and I think 3 of the members up. They're just not going to be able to contest that paint. Last minute pickup gets their lick back, tying up the set 1-1.
And with that, our first game 3 of the stream is going to be happening after we see that victorious victory screen from last minute pickup. Did a really good job of just holding the line up until Speed almost knocked them out of it. And then last minute pickup clutched up, locked in, and they were just easily able to keep the zone under their control and keep Speed out of mid for the most part. And it was a little scary there for a second because Speed did start to build up some steam a little bit here in the last couple of seconds of the match. But with the power of paint and pink ink on the ground combined, last minute pickup was just able to snag that crown for themselves, which means, again, we're going into a game 3. It's going to be Mako Mart.
And this is going to be pivotal. Of course, this is single elim, so both of these teams only have one choice before moving forward. And, you know, this is the first game 3. We are in alpha bracket, I think,
yes,
right?
We are in
so, very fitting of alpha bracket. Gonna have closer games, and I'm definitely going to be interested to see if we're going to be seeing some switches to AoE, or if they're going to be if they're essentially going to stick and continue to have these weapons, at least for last minute pickup, that just paint really well. Because I think that was something that worked really well on their side, because Speed, of course, had that bamboo and I think their S-Blast. So compared to last minute pickup, they were hurting a little bit for paint.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Like, they could have at least a little bit more paint literally anywhere in order to get them that map control that I feel like last minute pickup really took advantage of in those last couple of seconds here. But it's going to be interesting to see how Mako Mart plays out, especially because, you know, Mako Mart is very zones heavy. It's a very zones heavy. It's very stack heavy now. Stack heavy. You want to play around the stacks, on the stacks, and we switch to Vanilla Bamboozler. Okay, all right. We can work with this. Vanilla Bamboo is dare I say the better kit? Dare I say the better kit because it's got the auto bomb, because it's got the killer whale. We're going to be seeing a lot more of that single target damage onto last minute pickup that Speed wants in order to get this going. But with 3 going down on Speed for that first couple of seconds, last minute pickup takes control of the zone, pushes forward, and now the stack game has begun.
Yeah, I always say he who controls the stack controls the game, and you see that last minute pickup really is controlling the game here. They already are almost about halfway through their points, but I think finally Speed kind of squatting up despite 2 of their members being down, making sure that they're controlling their own stack and they don't at least lose that. But there is just an absolute tidal wave of paint coming down upon them, and it feels as though Speed just doesn't have a lot of space to work with. And, I have to wonder if it may have been more advantageous for them to have a little bit more AoE in their comp.
Absolutely, because last minute pickup is just absolutely going ham on the zone. Now we're already in the single digits. We're looking like we might see 100 KO with last minute pickup reverse sweeping speed in the first round of Alpha Bracket. And with that, unfortunately, like we said, single Elim means that speed will be going home empty-handed, unfortunately. But making it to Alpha Bracket in itself is honestly an achievement. So they should be proud of being in Alpha Bracket, but just the overwhelming power of the last minute pickup was too much for them to handle at this moment.
Yeah, I think that they came definitely a little bit more prepared, obviously, for this map mode, and I think that a lot of the struggle can be attributed to having to go up against that bamboo, a little bit of an unknown comparatively. Like I said, I feel like you can misjudge its range and think, oh, like it can't hit me from there, and then you're dead. Or you think, oh, it can't one-shot me, and then you're chipped and you die. So, like, I think that was definitely super helpful for Speed, especially in the first game. But when you're in this map mode that has these stacks, and you're dealing with that bamboo that can more easily get chipped out by a set up pen, or especially they're running an edit, and I personally, as an edit player, I don't care for playing edit at all on Mako Mart, unless you're on a Nautilus. I think you are going to be in a
Nautilus.
Yeah, you're like, I don't see the problem. I'm fine on my Splatling on Mako Mart.
Okay, to be fair, I play Nautilus 79, so I've got arguably the more fun frontline Nautilus kit, because it's got the suction bomb and the triple splashdown, so I just kind of go ham. But like, yeah, Hedit's certainly a choice to play on Mako. It's rough out there for us Splatling mains, honestly.
Honestly, it's very common. I always think that people might switch, and they never do. Like we were saying before, nobody likes to play Entry. I myself switched to Entry here. I love the AoE. I love that I can pressure pens that are set up on that top left. And I've got that lovely Fizzy, which is really good for clearing stacks. But I don't like having to drop my charge to go up a stack, and then I'm faced with, I don't know, some decav that's just sitting on the stack. Like, just one-shots me.
Decav.
Like, or like a brush or something crazy. So I don't like having to live that life and get like jump scared by people who are just waiting for me when I get on top of these stacks. So I think that was also probably a struggle. But we are going to be heading into trying to aim better versus Magnolia.
Absolutely. Getting right back into Alpha Bracket, I believe. We're still in Alpha. Let me double check.
That would be crazy if we went down to Beta. So
That'd
I'm like pretty positive.
We went down to Beta.
Like just mid.
Yes.
We just were like, well, it's Beta Bracket time. Sorry, guys. Keep up.
Yes,
like...
we are, in fact, still in Alpha. Pinky promise. I just had to check my bracket for a second there just to make sure.
Better safe than sorry. Sure.
Better safe than sorry. I don't want to give anyone any misinformation. I do a bunch of that, like, during stream anyways. The commentator's curse is very heavy with me, unfortunately. I feel like it's infectious. I'm sorry.
But in trying to shoot back better versus Magnolia, I think trying to shoot back better, we were talking about this team, I think they are our 5th seeds, and it is crazy the amount of everybody. One of the things we didn't mention about Golden Paddling Pool is that upon winning it, you receive essentially a bundle of badges belonging, I think, to other tourneys. So it is not just the Golden Paddling Pool, I think, badge on the line. It is a few others that are up for grabs as well. And I think that 6 a.m. this morning, my friend and I were in VP talking about Golden Paddling Pool, and there was something like 7 teams. So I was like, yeah, just sign up. There's barely anyone that's there, and now there's like 40 something
It's
that
like
are signed up.
49, I think.
So maybe people wanted their sweet grubby little fingers on those badges, or I know some teams are getting in a little bit, or rather I think exactly 2 teams are getting in a little bit of practice heading into the Splat World Championships. But our 5th seed trying to shoot better is one of the teams that we were discussing that we did not see coming as we were looking at those signups, I believe.
Absolutely.
And I
It's
think
just sorry, go ahead.
Magnolia, I think, is a mainstay that you see often. I think they have been, with all those signups, pushed down to 22. Of course, they are nothing to be sneezed at as well.
Yeah, because, like, the seeding isn't everything. Like, yes, it does give us, like, a rough estimate of how good these players are, but, like, I think pretty recently, I was casting for a tournament where the first seed just did not, unfortunately, make it, like, all the way through to, like, the good bracket. So, like, again, like, seeding really isn't everything. It's honestly just, I am so sorry. I've got cat hair all over my glasses. It's a struggle. Citrine loves me so bad. He wants to put cat fur on everything I own. But let's take a look at these maps that we've got going ahead for you guys. We're going right back to Mako Mart alongside Barnacle and Diamond, a potential Umami Ruins Zones game.
Yeah, a little bit of a breakup to the capitalism. Umami said, listen, enough shopping. It's time to get a little bit in touch with the culture, and we'll see if we once again make it to a game 3, because of course we were able to do that in our first Alpha Bracket game of the stream in that last set there. But definitely going to be excited seeing both of these teams, and I think we're going to be headed into it shortly. We'll see if these teams have learned from the mistakes of yester game, and interestingly, we have Tofu there on that leader. We'll see if we see some more oppressive leader use, and whether Newfie is going to be having that hard time I was mentioning before on edit here on this map mode.
Absolutely, and we do have a crab in play in the form of Braves Splash-O-Matic. So we're probably going to be seeing a crab at some point during the match, which I am personally excited for. Looks like Aim Better is really not having a good time as Magnolia is taking control of the zone time and time again. They do end up going 3 down in this moment now as Aim Better takes control of the zone, giving Magnolia a 10-tick penalty, which is absolutely nothing compared to some of the penalties that we have seen today on Splat Zones. Like we said, it's just the beginning minute of this match. Both of these teams are pretty evenly matched now. There's that crab I mentioned earlier coming off the Brave now. Gets a really nice pick as the members of Magnolia move forward into that lockout position.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see that wave breaker being deployed along with those strikes, trying to get a little bit of ink down in that zone. Not necessarily going to be enough to cap it until now. You Vivi on that top right taking this really important position and getting an really important pick, because I'm not sure they were able to get that cooler out necessarily. So that edit is going to go down, and right now trying to aim better is trying to get into a lockout position, but very quickly Magnolia is going to take 2 of their members down and try and just be oppressive here. Mirage not quite getting that jump out, so trying to aim better, gonna get 2 members down, make that 3, and finally take the zone back, but not without being a little bit worse for.
Absolutely, and just, it's been so back and forth this entire game so far. We are only 2 minutes into this match, 66-57 and counting for trying to aim better. I believe I heard that Kraken being popped yet again by Brave. 2 members of Magnolia do end up going down at the moment though, which means that aim better is going to be in control of the zone. Zenith finds a pick on Brave, unfortunately does end up going down. The bubble is going to be out now though, as along with the sodas, and Aim Better is beginning their really, really strong counterplay to Magnolia now. They are just in control of the zone and still counting it.
Wow, Newfie getting a really great pick, but not before several members, I think, gang up from trying to aim better to get that pick. Right now, I think Brave trying to just like play for life, a jump out happening, but I think we have hit the 10-point mark. So Magnolia making sure to move forward on the zone. They need to cap over it right now. So right now it's a bit of a fight back and forth. The strikes are going to come out, but that is not going to be enough to change it. Up until now, despite one member going down, Magnolia still not capping the zone, make that 3 members down. So finally, I think this is going to be Magnolia being able to cap, taking that right stack as well, and that was an absolute critical cap for them, as now the game is going back, but that was a crazy dodge there that we saw.
Yeah, crazy dodge from that leader, really able to survive against that slap bomb coming their way. 2 down on Aim Better now, as Magnolia, like you said, trying to take control of those Zacs is going to be very hard, because we see the tri-strikes going out, and with that, Aim Better does end up capping the zone. But since Magnolia had capped the zone before them, they do have a pretty sizable penalty to work with if they want to knock Magnolia out, which means that Magnolia still has a chance to get this thing moving. And with 1 minute left in the match, they do end up capping the zone, working through their own penalty points, and it is double bubble trouble on the zone now, as Zenith ends up going down. 3 down on the members of Trying to Aim Better now, as Magnolia is in the clear advantage state. They are going to be taking use of those sippies from Newfie to just absolutely go ham on Trying to Aim Better.
Yeah, and you see this Crab coming out to try and defend the lead that is trying to be gotten here right now. Trying to Aim Better is going to have to drop and figure it out right now, but that is easier said than done, as finally the lead switches, and I think that is going to be a knockout for Magnolia, putting them at advantage in this set with a 1-0.
Really, really solid last minute play from Magnolia, able to cap the zone. They had to come back away from the zone because of the tri-strikes, because of the GG strikes that happened there. But just wow, getting 3 in the last moment there, and like making sure that the zone was just covered with paint. We saw a little accidental wrong Mako Mart. That was a Mako Mart from another timeline.
It's all the same.
I think the colors were the same too, weren't they?
Yeah, you know, and I think that's what was confusing about it. If you've seen one Mako Mart, maybe you've seen them all, but I think one of the things that is especially crazy is you see that Trying to Aim Better got down to that 6, and then at the last second, or rather the last 6 seconds, got denied that knockout, and it just hurts when you almost have a knockout and the other team is able to cap over it, and then they essentially reverse sweep you in your own game and are able to get that down. But compared to a thing like Mako Mart, I think Barnacle and Dime plays completely differently. Of course, all the things that we've mentioned before. Whoa! I think there's an accidental loaded,
Mommy
if I'm
jump
not
scare.
mistaken. Yeah. True. Wait a second. We want our capitalism back. Go back to the shopping place. But I think it's being played out. Perhaps there was an error in the display. I can check back to make sure that that is the case. But yeah, we are supposed to be on Umami. That was an error in terms of the display there. So that is why they are playing it out. We are the ones who are wrong. Sorry for the error there. But you see Zenith already getting an early pick. Both of these teams are going to be having a difficult time because, you know, you've got the 2 zones there. And a lot of the time, both zones do not stay inked in your color long. So finally, a couple of points on the board. But you see, neither of these teams are able to push ahead so far.
Absolutely, and I do want to point out that Tofu has switched E-Leader tactics on us. Now Tofu is rocking with that C leader as Magnolia does end up going 3 down in the moment. Now, like you said, very hard to keep control on this map, but Aim Better setting up Zenith on that Zimmy, just doing a really good job of just being in the way with the bubble. That's what you want to see from a bubble. You want to see a bubble in an inconvenient spot, in the way, able to protect the rest of your teammates while you try and aim for a lockout position. Now, Magnolia is on a bit of a back foot there, as we can see Aim Better, again, just keeping really heavy-handed control of both of those zones on Umami Ruins is absolutely key for them. But from behind, it is looking like that Magnolia has broken out into mid. They are looking for a cap on that zone, as they do end up giving Aim Better a 59 tick penalty, which is huge.
Well, we saw what happened last time with Magnolia kind of coming from behind, denying them a knockout, and then somehow able to get the game. So obviously we cannot count them out yet. And speaking of counting, already below 70, those strikes are going to come out, maybe neutralize the zone. Not yeah, gonna happen. 2 of the members down, make that 3. And one thing I noted actually that I thought may be an issue, and now that 3 of their members have gone down, and presumably the last one has probably jumped out, Magnolia has extremely weak retake. They've got that zip, they have a crab, but they have also a bubble and a... So versus perhaps more aggressive weapons like a Zap that's lightweight, like that Kraken especially, which maybe they've changed to, knowing that they might have to retake and deny that space. Of course, those strikes, I think that trying to aim better is in a better position, which is perhaps why they have the zone once again, if they do end up in a place where they're looking to be locked out. So Magnolia has their work cut out for them here.
Absolutely, and the Sippies are out for Magnolia, but trying to aim better is just back into the single digits now. The zones are coming out. They are not looking to repeat the mistakes of that last match, because they are just cleaning up the members of Magnolia that end up finding their way into the zone. And with that, trying to aim better does end up taking that game out for Magnolia, getting a knockout on Umami Ruins splat zones, which means that we are once again tied up to a game 3 between these two really incredible teams. And like you said, Magnolia had a really big issue here trying to retake the zone and hold it. They needed to hold the zone for longer because it was just, again, going 3 down consistently every time they tried to retake the zone from Aim Better. It's not the kind of look you want to be in.
Yeah, I think that trying to aim better, of course, has some really strong players on it. And I think that perhaps something like this works better when you can just get away with smothering the other team with aggression. But Magnolia is up against a leader when they have their edit player as, I guess, like maybe their weapon question mark with the most the most range. But we are going to be headed into Robo Ramen. I think no switches despite this issue with retake. No, none that I've noticed. So I think that right now Magnolia is going to have to really bank on just being able to lock in and win the game, because we know that retake can also be very harsh here, especially in that elbow position that you pointed out before. And so they just can't afford to stagger, and they can't afford to go down.
I feel like that crab might be the pivotal special for Magnolia here because of how good it is on Robo Ramen, especially because you can just climb that glass wall and pop that crab right there. You have a view of the entirety of mid. Now, Magnolia is going to lose control here, and they still do not have the lead yet under their control, as it looks like that is going to have to jump out, that Splatana Stamper, in a really precarious situation. Now, trying to aim better is going to look to take control of that elbow. Like I said, that is the pivotal point here. You need to take control of the elbow if you're on the offensive, so that way the defenders cannot get back in. And Zenith is looking to do just that, but the ink power is too powerful on Magnolia as they begin to slowly but surely move into the zone and cap it in their color.
Yeah, absolutely. You see nine, they're gonna go down in that 1v1. Tofu trying to set up, despite this active crab, likely going to wait it out. But still, despite that crab being out, finally the bubble is deployed. But you have the Kraken, which will just rip through absolutely anything. And I think that is going to give the zone back to trying to aim better. So Magnolia, and Brave with this jump out, it just seems as though they're not necessarily in a position where they need to be. I think a lot of the win condition for them is probably looking like making sure that they get Vivi down, because those strikes are important, and Nufi does just that, getting the pick, but also, making sure that that paint down is in the zone, because those strikes come out and the zone is lost.
Yeah, and with that, Magnolia does end up going 2 down, but alongside Aim Better going 2 down, it's still really anyone's game, because Magnolia takes control of the zone, giving Aim Better a 30-tick penalty to their name. We see the double splat bombs as Tofu has to emergency Kraken lest they be splat bombed their self here. As we can see, not really doing much, but getting a little bit of paint on the zone. But that might just be enough for Aim Better to go forward and try and get the zone under their control yet again. Now Magnolia is on a little bit of a forward-facing foot here. While the strikes do end up coming out, and Aim Better does end up capping the zone, Magnolia is doing a pretty good job of staying mostly alive for this and keeping the paint consistently on the zone, which is what you really want to see in such a back and forth map like this can be.
Yeah, but the strikes are so oppressive. You see that 9 has that zip, but perhaps not necessarily in a good position to use it. Of course, they're going to want to zip that leader, perhaps, but I don't know. It's just so difficult, because you see these oppressive specials coming out of trying to aim better. Tofu trying to get this pick on the Kraken. Of course, with the supplementary strikes, it seems as though they have this really good system where the Kraken comes out that displaces people, and then they're just free to strike the zone. But one member going to go down on each side. Magnolia making sure to get that paint down, keeping the zone in their control, waiting for all of their members to go up, perhaps farming a couple of specials. Of course, that cooler does come out, but right now it just seems as though we are at a neutral, and the strikes have come to destroy that neutral and take it back before the lead can be switched. Oh no, the lead did switch!
The lead swapped. It's a 1-point lead differential right now. Less than a minute left remaining. Aim Better is going to work through those penalty points really quickly, though. Magnolia does end up losing that 1-point lead. 2 down on either side now. But we see that the Headit has the sodas ready to be tossed at any time. But it's just really not looking good for them. We see the bubble come out, and like you were saying, that switch to Kraken might have been pivotal, and there's a disconnect! Magnolia ends up disconnecting, the Headit is down. Now trying to aim better has even more of an advantage state than they already had, because Magnolia has to fight twice as hard in order to get into that zone, and with trying to aim better in the single digits and a delayed wipe, it is really not looking good. An unfortunate disconnect from the backliners, spelling out Magnolia's doom.
Yeah, I did see that on the overhead, that the edit user, I saw that they were about to deploy a cooler, and then just randomly died
Dang.
on the UI, and I went, uh-oh, we have a bit of an issue there. I think we might be able to see it perhaps on this replay. You see several members of Magnolia going down. We'll see if Jorian was able to see it. And then here is where the disconnect happens. We're going to get that POV from first person of that disconnected person. But yeah, that is what happened, in a very unfortunate way to go out. Perhaps they still had some fight in them. We'll never know. Very unfortunate disconnect. Not a great way to end it, especially not in a single Elim tourney.
Yeah, because there is unfortunately no losers bracket for Magnolia to fall into. Again, single Elim. They are going to be going home as trying to aim better does end up going forward in the alpha bracket. But nevertheless, Magnolia did an excellent job of fighting with all of their ability. Really good job taking that game 1. And they had a strong showing on game 2 for at least a little bit on Umami Ruins, but like you were saying, that switch to Sea Leader with the Kraken, I feel like just really rendered their bubble useless in the moment because again, you've got the displacement, you've got like the insta bubble kill that the Kraken provides, and also that Kraken was really good at escaping and not dying, and I just want to point that out. What an excellent Kraken user. Like, kudos to you, man. I could never.
Yeah, it's definitely super. Whenever a leader pops a Kraken, my team, I'm confident I can outmaneuver a Kraken, but I'm like, guys, kill him, kill him, kill him. Like the end lag is so terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to jump that guy and kill them. And the fact that you can just get away with popping a Kraken and not getting gunned down immediately, definitely super admirable. But that is going to be the set. Trying to shoot back better, I think trying to aim better against Team Magnolia in a 2-1. And not only is that the end of that set, I think that is the end of our block commentating for this golden paddling pool, Carney.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't stick with you guys forever. We gotta give the other commentators a turn at some point. As much as I hate to say it, the end of our block is completely over and done for, and we will be hearing from our next 2 commentators in just a second. But before we go, I just want to say hi, my name is Carnival. You can find me down at my blue sky right below here, or find me at literally any Splatoon tournament organization, because I guess I'm in almost every single major one now.
I'm Sasu. Find me at Sasu in your pants, basically on any social media, especially Blue Sky. That's SASUIN, the letters UR pants, because some people think it's spelled correctly and it's not. It's the letters UR rather than YO. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed having redheads on your screen, giving you the tea via commentary. And that's gonna be it from us. So stick around, because this golden paddling is just gonna keep chugging.
Hello and welcome, everybody. It is time for more action with this golden paddling pool. I am Pat here. We're joined by my good friend Hat. Hat, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, Pat. I'm enjoying the sunny weather. I am enjoying everything we've seen here on Paddling Pool 330 so far, and I'm super excited for what's to come here in this zones only tournament. This is 330 editions. Let's talk about that first, because that's an accomplishment for something that's been running basically every single week. I think we skipped how many editions? I think 5 tops. I think 5.
Last time I asked Alice, it was 5, and we haven't skipped one since, so I'm pretty sure that's 5. And yeah, I mean, it's very much the classic tournament of the scene, especially the European scene. And we have 2 classic teams here, right in front of us. Hat, we're gonna start with Frutella going against Blanks. 2 teams that have been grinding this tournament for months now. We're glad to see them come back, and we're going to start with Wahoo World? Hat, fun fact, did you know this map has a timer?
Really?
Yes, it does.
Elaborate.
So, there's a few lights that show you when the bridge is going to close up or down. But in zones, because the bridge is always there, these lights are completely useless and there won't be a timer. But still, fun fact.
Man, they should add that in the zones. They should have added in the zones. I didn't know. I actually, for real, I did not know that. That's how long I've not played WoW World. But it's almost never inside the rotation. It's almost never picked in the tournament. I don't know whose idea was it to pick WoW World. But I am a fan, and I cannot wait to see some of this tournament action. Because when I played WoW World back like in ranked and stuff, it was always such a pain to fight at midpoint. And no, at some point in some game modes they added a pole in the middle, and then they removed it. I don't know if you remember all the pole memes. Those were honestly the days. They should add that back. But let's see how these 2 teams are going to fight it out. Like you said, 2 teams have been fighting for those paddling pool victories, and they are hungry to get this golden paddling pool badge on their 7.ink profile. And look at that, already a remix and a Hydra in the same game. And the poll is here too. What a day to be alive.
Yeah, lots of different things we can have. That new Hydra can do pretty well on this map, honestly. If it's in position with a bubbler, can very much take full control of the center of the map right now. As Frutella are trying to go in, kind of forced out of here. And Blanks are able to still fight for it. Both teams still kind of struggling to take control of the zone. The Splatling is trying to get that position, trying to put the paint on.
Both teams indeed are trying to get some footing into the ground, but Lusa Frutella finally found the footing they wanted to. 3 players down on the side of Blank. See just a junior alive. Yushi fighting for their life, somehow survives because there was a Puya bomb used by the blaster. Doesn't connect the way they want to. Junior does finally go down. It took a long time for them to get that splash, so no wipeout on the board. Very good for them. The Junior also back on the field. Respawn Double Duty did go down. So the blaster on the side of Frutella. And Frutella is defending as Blanksy using all the specials, trying to create an opening. Only a bubbler is on the platform to push up, but a crab tank says no, thank you very much. Denies that push, and not a single member from Blanksy could make it in his own year fast.
Incredible hold by Frutella right there, not letting Blanks get back onto that zone. And with just 10 ticks left, Blanks, they have no choice but to run forward. They're losing ball players. That's the end of it. Game 1 goes to Frutella.
Very, very well played by Frutella. I don't know how they held up when there were 4 specials being used, and somehow that zone wasn't even neutralized. It was just in their control. They didn't lose the second they found their way in the zone, the second they painted that zone purple, it was done. Black Sea could do nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Frutella are very much one of his highest team in Europe. Incredible players, well coordinated, and they really took control of that center of the map, laying down the trap. And as you said, Blanks were able to get back to the middle. They had a bubbler next to the zone. Usually when you have a bubbler on the zone, you're able to paint it, but There was also a crab tank by Punchy there to absolutely stop them, there to keep them from getting that paint on. Incredible control by Frutella, getting the 1-0, and let's get right in the next map already. No time to waste as Blanks are ditching the Hydra in favor of a heavy edit.
Yeah, traditional comps might just be better. And the heavy edit's still a very good weapon, definitely a good option for the tactical, but they have to play a little bit faster now because Frutella did have a little bit of a dominant game the first time.
Yeah.
And they want to try and switch it up. Blanks to the first one to capture that zone. Also got a spread of Frutella as well. Sludge is huge on Robo Run because that's a lot of the flank potential from Frutella off the field. They're holding it quite nicely. 2 players go down as well. And BlanC now in good control here and looking at a solid lead.
Oh.
But a wipeout as Commentator's Curse kicks in. Switches that right up their back.
Yeah, I mean, Frutella with the strong push right there. Now they're using their special to maintain that control. Blanks in there on the elbow, though, activating the crab tank, and with 2 splats, they are on the zone. A bubbler on the zone, but the crab tank to stop them. At least they're able to get the cap, but they lose 2 players. Quite an answer by Frutella, letting them apply penalty, but not letting them take control.
Very good by Frutella to at least apply penalty, but not give up that fight, not give up control, because now with that, their penalty's gone and they just swapped that lead right in their favor. The blast didn't go down though, so BlanC has a player advantage to start pushing. Not a whole lot of special on the map though, only a junior special that can be activated at any moment. Dually special is also at the ready. Crab tank will be activated on top of the little glass box with the bubble to protect the crab tank. Huge combo on the crab tank from Frutella, forced away at the back. Nothing they can do to defend that zone. With a beautiful push, BlanC controls the zone for but a second as Frutella is so quick fast. They just get that zone right back.
Yeah, Frutella, they even if they let the zone be capped, they keep the control of the map right now, and with a few more splat on Blanks, they're able to simply stay there. I believe that's Crowny with that heavy edit, keeping the position, maintaining more control. Now that we're rid of the penalty, Frutella are eyeing that KO.
Looking at the state of the map right now, it is BlanC with a lot of special on the map. Tactically out in the field, but not a single drop of ink on their side. Even their spawn is coded in a yellow color. It's the last position they want to be in. 2 players down on the side of Frutella though. This is their chance, but a tri-strike says no. And with only a single tick left, so close to neutralizing that zone. It is Frutella with another victory, giving themselves match point status. And I don't know what BlanC is doing, but they gotta shift into next gear and get a victory because they have to reverse sweep this one now.
Yeah, Frutella faster, Frutella more coordinated, stays in control of the map the whole game pretty much. Blanks were able to take control at the start, but the second Frutella were able to push forward, they maintained that position and paid attention to Blanks. I mean, Blanks was able to get a few flanks to get forward, to get to the zone, but Frutella always on top of it, always finding the exact right answer to stay there. And yeah, that's game number 2 for Frutella right now. Incredibly strong.
They're definitely on a roll here. I mean, that's how you play splat zones. Dominant, but also play it cool. If you lose your zone once, that's okay. Just make sure to hold your line and just go back whenever you need to. Let's go and find out for round number 3. It is on Neil Albacore Hotel. Let's see if we can get another victory for BlanC or for Frutella, or if BlanC can get a dub, as they are looking at a match point status and they do not want to get kicked out of a single elimination tournament, not just yet.
Yeah, it is not over right now. Frutella already around the zone, getting a few splats, and on Barnacle getting control up there is so big. Punchy activating the Crab of Death. All of Blanks are simply running away, trying to find a better move. But right now, Frutella are simply pushing in. Oh, they lose 2 players, though. Blanks could have a way forward, but they need to win the fights in. They need to paint the zone right now. 2 down on Frutella, and Blanks could very much get control here.
This is what they want. They want to get some control out here on the map. They want to get some control on that zone and start pushing for points. Control is now gained, but can they hold onto that zone? Can they get that lead? That's the real question we gotta ask you right now. Booyabomb coming out. Zone is neutralized. The Junior is down for Blank Sea. They are respawning. They're trying to get back into the zone in time, but not in time as Frutella is in control again. Tri-Track coming out. Textbooler coming out. Everything is out on the field, and there's nothing Blank Sea could do. But when everyone Frutella is pushing, they sneakily went back and captured that zone.
Yeah, keeping a bit of paint on the zone means Blanks gets a bit more time to come back, but they lose 2 players, and Frutella are maintaining their pace, keeping going on. More fights in. Punchy is going to get a huge trade right there as Blanks are struggling to come back in. They have a few players on the map though, as it's Frutella that didn't really manage to jump their way forward, and Blanks are going to take control.
Finally, that's what they needed, that's what they wanted, but 2 players down is not the way to keep control, as they are now defending with only a Junior and an edit. Will it be enough? The Junior somehow got the blaster. That is big news, because that allows their teammates to respawn and regroup, and that lead is about to be swapped to Blanks. And finally, when they're having a lead in their favor mid-game, not at the beginning of the game, but finally swapping a lead somewhere in the middle of the game, and they're holding it quite nicely here, but 2 players do go down, unfortunately. And with that zone about to be neutralized, Blanks, he has to step up the gas. They have to step up their game. It's neutralized but not captured yet. Frutella finally changes hands of the zone, but can they keep it with 3 players down on the side of Blank Sea? I think they will hold on to this for a little longer.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Frutella are rid of their penalty and looking to get the lead back. That was a great move by Blanks, able to get so much, but the lead is going to go back to Frutella right now. Blanks activating the crab, activating the whale, getting back onto the zone with the blood bubbler on there. They're still here to paint. Can they do it though? Punchy right here, getting the first fight. And able to punish another one, but it's 3 down onto Frutella. Blanks able to get back on the zone and to punish the jumps as well.
Very good plays from Blank Sea, but they still have a lot of ways to go, because this zone was lost for so long. That lead has been changed back in the hands of Frutella, who are using a crab tank to attack that zone once again. Blank Sea just cannot get a break. Crab tank does not find the splat, but does find enough time to get that zone painted in the purple color. Frutella again, it just goes back and forth. Blank Sea pulls its zone. Frutella holds the zone. Blank Sea also. Frutella holds that zone. Blank Sea again, stopping that lead, getting a player down. Looking at the next one. Dactacular is out of the field again. Beth, can they make use of it this time? Can they hold on to control the penalty? Only 15 ticks remaining. Will they wipe out? The answer sadly no.
Yeah, huge moves right there by Frutella. And, I mean, Blanks have shown that they were able to fight, that they were able to push, but right now, Frutella has the big lockdown of this map, and with only 45 seconds left in the game, and probably less than that if they let Frutella keep scoring points. It's looking pretty dire for Blanks. Blanks trying to fight their way in. The strikes are coming to stop them. Frutella getting the 3-0 and winning the game.
3-0 this far into the tournament, it is a huge accomplishment for Frutella, and they were doing it a lot slower in the last game, but still this set an absolute show of dominance for Frutella and not showing any remorse for Blank Sea. A 3-0 and a dominant victory. Blank Sea unfortunately have to leave this tournament, as today we are playing single elimination, so they will not be seen again even in the losers bracket. But what a show from Frutella. Yeah, what a show indeed. Frutella
right now just punch their ticket to the semifinals, and we'll see more paddling pool action right after this short break as soon as we get a lobby.
Okay, I don't know what's on my mic, but it's like in my face. So.
2, 3.
And welcome back to Double Productions Battling Pool 330. My name is Het, and I'm still joined by Hets today with beautiful, beautiful face cams right here on the live streams. After a little bit of a break, we are going into our next set. I believe this is the semifinals already. A new meta against Pathway. These two teams have been fighting through and through this tournament. New meta just won 3-0 against Luck Burst in the previous round. Pathway did win 3-2-1. Seed number 1 against seed number 4. Let's see how these two teams are going to face it off, as we are going in this game quite a little bit late because it took longer than expected. Gonna start it off on Hagglefish Market, the Mako Mart of Splatoon 3. And what do you think with these two teams in this map? What do you think will happen, other than, of course, absolute carnage?
I mean, these are two teams that have become pretty much a staple of top level of Europe, and I can't wait to see them fight. New meta, I'd say, are the favorite of this. But honestly, Pathway have been improving and getting better and better. So anything's possible. Honestly, anything is possible. Look out for these two teams. They're both teams that can absolutely create the surprise, that can completely surprise you, flip the script, and let's see what's going to happen. Will Lulu and Isabel with the brush and the Tetras create the chaos, or will Pathway find their path onto the zone?
Looking at the weapons as well, I see that new 96, I see that new Stamper. Let's see if those weapons will bring anything useful to the table, as we see both teams rushing towards that zone, but it is Pathway finding their way into the zone first, but they're not exactly capturing it. They're just passively painting and waiting. Huge flank coming in from new meta. Can it be enough to get some splats? Yes, it will! 2 splats to be 2 flats, in fact. And the third one is on the way. Isabel, beautiful opening flank, forcing their team to capture that zone and forcing the other team to go back into their spawn.
And Isabel going in the Zipcaster to get more aggro. That's going to be punished. But New Meta, they have control of the whole map right now. And they're still in the spawn, dancing around, maintaining the fight so far away from the zone. And with 2 down, Pathway are struggling. New Meta, incredibly forward, incredibly aggro, are simply holding, and Pathway able to get control of their platform, but New Meta has the time to respawn. The bubbler is next to the zone, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough with 2 players down. Monde is forced out, and New Meta right now, just 10 more ticks, and they will get the KO. Can Pathway get in? Yes! They save themselves.
69 penalty points on the side of New Meta too. That's a very funny number, but also a very long penalty they have to sit through, as Pathway doesn't have a penalty and just can't freely score points. But they have a long way towards that lead. But 2 players down on the side of Pathway, or on the side of New Meta, will help secure that lead faster and faster. 2 players go down again! Pathway finally got hold of the zone, and they are intending to keep it as well, not considering anything what will happen to Pathway, not considering how they might feel about this. New Meta is getting their specials ready. New Meta is preparing for a pusher pet, and I see a couple specials out on the side of Pathway, but New Meta is now going to use their specials to start pushing.
Meta holding well, but getting punished right there. Can New Meta get in the lead? Has swapped, but New Meta is here to paint, and with all of their specials, with that jetpack above the zone, they're able to take control in the nick of time right there. And that's 3 players down. Pathway, I mean, they managed to get a huge comeback and get the lead, but now it's New Meta back in the driver's seat hat.
Big push from New Meta, and just in time as well, a little bit late to get the zone back, but better late than never, I guess, because they still are in this game and they still have a chance to claim victory. Their penalty down to 22 ticks and counting. They're not letting go this time. They're preparing so much, but oh no! Nobody's on the zone. The Pathway got themselves a free capture. A penalty is now back all the way to 56. It's not as bad as it was before, but it's still a long time to go with only 2 minutes left on the clock. Time is not a resource that they want to waste. They have to hold on to the zone for as long as they can, but as long as Pathway is pushing like this, it's going to be super difficult to hold on to that one.
Now Pathway are going in with no fear, getting the trades they need to get. They have control of the zone. They lost 2 players, but they still have enough pain to delay the push by New Meta. Isabel with the Tetris trying to go in while the jetpack is deployed. Here comes also a Zipcaster. New Meta able to go in, but losing too many players. Pathway don't have much penalty left. Pathway, after getting pummeled at the start of this game, are going to take it.
Not just take it, they KO'd this. Coming from a fight where they had no points against 10 left to KOing this zone. They took this game in the pocket. They took it home how you are supposed to take it home. Bit of a slow start indeed, but definitely a very, very strong comeback. And something that New Meta has to think about when choosing their next weapons for the next set, because looking at how aggressive Pathway can play and how much they can defend as well, they were firm on the ground. Only once did they lose that zone, and they got it back super quickly. So they have a lot of strengths there, and New Meta definitely has some ways to go in that department, because they can push, but they can't hold.
I mean, it's as you said, New Meta were able to get that huge push to take so much control, but Pathway were able to get the comeback, and Pathway, struggling at first, managed to show themselves as the most solid team there. Really stay in control of the map and get an incredible comeback. Now going on to Wahoo World. Wahoo World is the map for Tetris. Is the perfect map to bring Tetris to the mix. And I'm not surprised that New Meta has it on their list right there. So this is like probably the map that favors New Meta the most. Pathway needs a big counter to that.
I think they'll find something, because Isabel can also play Tetras of their own. And look at this, no weapon. Is it no weapon switch? I don't think there's any weapon switches coming in from Pathway. Yeah, Pathway's playing the same weapons. Yeah, playing the same weapons. Both teams are, I think, playing the same. No, I see a Zinc Mini now. That wasn't there before. Good weapon pick on the Zinc Mini. I like weapon pick. It's a bit of an odd one. But I think in a map like this it can definitely work out. New meta again with a quick push onto that zone. Beautiful splat we witnessed right there. Hammer as well to get it confirmed. And oh, look at that! That 96 was caught out. And we had 3 players are just down here, Pat. And a beautiful boost, but everything just went to nowhere as 3 players go down on the side of New Meta here.
Yeah, great move right there, but Pathway able to get back. Despite losing the start of this team fight, they were able to get back in control of a lot of the platform, but New Meta is still around there when we're able to respawn. Now there's another fight for mid, and it's 2 down onto Pathway. Lulu going in with the brush, trying to get a bit more, dancing around to dodge. New Meta are staying in control. Pathway not yet able to get to the zone.
2 players down. Big moment for New Meta. They can't find a way in. Oh, waiting. A snack almost getting caught by that Booyah Bomb. New Meta still in control of that zone. Still holding on. 2 players down for Pathway. Again, this is how New Meta wants it to go. This is how they are they expecting it to go. And this is what they need because they're still 1-0 down in this set standings. We see Pathway pushing up, trying to get a nice little sneaky pick, and they do. The pencil found the brush, and this might be big because the brush is a big defensive object for New Meta. Pathway using the tri-strike to get their foot in the zone and start scoring a singular point on their penalty, which instantly gets reverted.
This is so rough for Pathway right there. New Meta running away and just running circles around them. Even when Pathway are able to take control of the zone, the brush is behind them. Lulu going in, getting one, almost getting a second splat right there. The Hammer's not going to find anything. But I mean, Pathway right now forced to defend from all sides at the same time. That's not how you want to be on the zone.
That's super difficult indeed, and with the bubble it's gonna make it even more difficult. Tacticooler out on the field as well. New Meta is throwing everything on the map, trying to get that control back, trying to hold on into the lead. Isabel, bit too aggressive and gets punished very quickly. Pathway, however, is down 3 players, and with that New Meta can get control of that zone. So maybe not everything was lost when Isabel got splatted, but they have to be a little bit more careful for that to happen, because that could also change the tide in the way of, or in favor of, Pathway. Now Pathway also using a Tacticooler on the map to start pushing, but they don't find an opening. They're trying their best to look for something, but the bubbler from the Zinc Mini is blocking them so hard. Tacticooler out on the field now. Will it be enough? No! As Isabel uses a beautiful re-slider to get 3 players off the map. Huge play from Isabel, and that allows New Meta to change this into a 1-1 scenario. What a display of Wahoo World here.
I mean, it always looks like Isabel is too aggressive. It always looks like Isabel is going in for the extra fight for too far. And the rest of the team, the rest of New Meta are able to follow on that, are able to capitalize on these crazy fights that Lulu and Isabel are constantly taking. And right there, New Meta were able to take control of this map, were able to really punish Pathway. Wherever Pathway were able to get to mid, there was someone from New Meta to flank them, to splat them one way or the other.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you with that on how Lulu and Isabel are handling this. And even if Isabel maybe does go a little bit too aggressive, Lulu knows how to follow it up, and Lulu also knows that there's still 2 teammates behind them waiting to pick up on any scraps and waiting to revert any damage that may have been done towards those 2 Slayers. So very good team coordination from New Meta. And they had such a firm grasp onto this map this time. Unlike the last time where they had it in the beginning and then lost it, here they really held onto the zone and only gave Pathway a few shivers of holding onto it, but not for longer periods of time, and that's really good. And I hope for new meta that can translate into Mako Mart as well, because this zone tends to be a little bit more difficult to hold onto for longer. We see that Isabel drops the Tetradudes to go back to Dapples, hoping the little bit shorter roll but faster damage will suit them more. Let's see if we get another victory for new meta, or if Pathway will show them how it is done and create a 2-1 scenario.
These blue Dapples are better at fighting than the Tetris can be in terms of their kill time, in terms of their extremely high kill potential that they have. And Lulu going in with the high kill potential as well. And Lulu's already in the spawn to create some havoc. He's going to be shooed away. But new meta right now have taken control of the map, just like they like to do.
Well, they didn't just take control, they opened a control with a wipeout, I believe. That is a big opening for new meta. I mean, an early wipeout is... I mean, a wipeout in general is not good, but an early wipeout that can be devastating, because it means your entire map is instantly the opposing team's color, and there's nothing you can even do about it. Pathway finding another opening, fighting a way back into that zone, looking to get some players splattered with a big bubbler, and 3 players down, make that the late wipe. That is not how Pathway is intending this push to go here, Pat. Only 30 ticks remaining for new meta.
It's getting pretty rough for Pathway. They need to get that push. They need to get in. Specs with the Stamper trying to find the way forward, but he's completely surrounded. The strikes will come onto the zone. Are they enough to cap? Yes! Very nice cap by Miner right there, and with 3 players down, it looks like Pathway are going to take control, are going to be on top of the zone, and they keep winning the fights right now. Pathway are getting in that game.
Never late than, or better late than never, because 6 ticks is not the game ender yet, and that is what Pathway is going to show us. It happened before with 10 ticks on the side of new meta, and this is going to be maybe another show for Pathway. They did it once, and they can definitely do it twice if they want to. 2 players down on both sides, but Lulu with a hammer from the back. Did they expect it? Can Pathfinder defend against it? It looks like they can, as nobody was falling, and the zone is still somewhat in their control. Strikes will definitely help get that control back and start scoring points again. Now penalty is applied, and this is good for Pathway, but as I say that, new meta uses everything they got to put a penalty on Pathway.
That whip slider does... Oh! Whoa!
Oh
Lulu
no, that late.
disconnected. Oh,
Not
no.
that late. That
This
is
is way-
devastating.
Oh! We are way too far in the game right now. Pathway in a 4v3 now. Oh, that is sad to watch. And Pathway getting control of the map. They know that they have one less flank to look for, which is going to make things way easier for them. Isabel trying to fight in, but is going to be splattered. This is rough. This is rough.
This is actually really rough for new meta. I mean, you don't want to give this people as well. Like nobody deserves, especially not this late in the game, not this late in a tournament. And this is really rough for new meta, and obviously as a team morale can also break, because you just lost this, and you know that this is honestly you lost it because it's also unfair that your team is disconnected. But you know, that's, as much as I hate to say it, that's kind of Splatoon. It does happen more often than not. I don't think it is a Splatoon tournament without a disconnect, but this one is very unfortunate. But overall, I think both teams still had an incredible game, especially new meta with that beautiful wipeout opening. So don't count them out just yet. That maybe 2-0 or 2-1 for Pathway, but I don't think new meta is going to take this L just like that. They are going to fight they're going to fight with everything they got in this last fight.
I mean, it's certainly not over. New meta, I mean, they were in the lead. Pathway was getting the comeback, was fighting their way, and we know how dangerous Pathway can be once they are in control of the zone. But still, new meta had the lead, had shown how strong they can be on this map. It's kind of rough to see it go that way, but I mean, that's the rules of the game. That's pretty rough. All right, we're being told that their fourth is coming back. They still have the internet quick issue, but it's certainly not over.
Yeah, especially with a frontliner like that. If you lose him, maybe sometime with a backliner occasionally, you don't want to lose a backliner as well. If you still have the frontliners and you are that far into the game, you might just be able to just kind of clinch onto it. But losing one of your frontliners, especially someone like Lulu, that makes it so incredibly difficult to fight that 3v4. And as New Meta doesn't really have a proper backline as well, there's not like an angel that can continuously watch over them. They have to rely on the mid line, and that makes it incredibly difficult. Because the mid line is primarily focusing on getting rid of the flankers for the back line. So that is something that maybe if they don't have one, get a wired connection. Does tend to help, but hey, sometimes it's Splatoon. You can just randomly get disconnected and there's nothing you can do about it. Unfortunately. But we are looking at match point status for Pathway. Even if they won that game with a disconnect for New Meta, they were still very, very strong overall, and I didn't want to count them out on that stat also. These teams are honestly very, very close to each other.
Oh yeah, we have two great teams today to watch, both of these teams. I mean, you don't get in semifinals of a golden paddling pool by mistake. It's something like both of these teams are incredibly great players that have shown their skill over and over and over. Pathway, they're gonna get the 3 points. They're gonna get the 3 points, and right now, New Meta, they need to get the comeback if they want to, and it's going to be on the airport.
I think it's a funny Splatzone map, and I think it's the shape, and especially with all the moving elements, might make it a little bit awkward sometimes for these players as well. But there's also a lot of very unique flank routes here that can be utilized by Isabel, by Lulu, and that's going to be a bit scary because Pathway does not flank as much as New Meta does. That's almost their entire strategy. Just flank over and over and over again. And then whenever they're expecting a flank, the one time they're really watching for it, push straight through that center, push straight to the middle of the map, and shred everyone to bits. And let's see if New Meta can do that again. Or if we're looking at Pathway getting their way into the finals. But I want to see game 5 because these teams on Robo Brahman is going to be hella fun. So I'm praying that this game will go into the side of New Meta so we can get that game number 5. But morale is high on the side of Pathway as they just won 2 games in a row and they're looking at that third one.
Yeah, and right now let's get in the game. New Meta changing the 52 go this time to have a Kraken to force their way through if they want.
I think it was the other 96. They had another 96.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Yeah, exactly. And New Meta right there. That Kraken is going in for the fight indeed. They're forced out though and punished by Miner on the bucket. But yeah, I mean, right now we still have the fight for the zone. Both teams trying to get control. The punish on the Reef Slider is huge by Zekrom. Huge snipe right there. It's 2 versus 2. And it looks like Pathway are getting control over the zone. Hat?
Not just control, they're swapping that lead in their favor as well. Tacticooler coming out, 2 players down on the side of New Meta. This is not the way they wanted to return into this map. This is not the way they wanted to return after disconnect. Huge hammer coming out from Lulu. Will it be enough to splat? Yes, they can, but a trade or a refrag. I didn't see exactly which one, but it was not enough to push to the middle. Tacticooler is out on the field for New Meta, but losing that Stamper might be huge, but it is still enough to get them into control of the zone and at least get a penalty onto Pathway.
I mean, New Meta between the Reef Slider and the Kraken, when they want to go in, you really can't stop them from going in, but you can still punish them for being in afterwards. Mondi right there with the Junior dancing around, able to maybe fight on the platform right here, getting punished. Still New Metas flanking over and over is paying off. They are in control of the zone.
They're finally getting some more points off their penalty, and finally now They're starting to push for points. No! One tick! Come on, you can get one tick. Yeah, we see the edit getting quickly back onto painting, getting the one more tick they needed, and they're starting to push for points again. 37 is the score to beat. Lulu does go down with the brush. So does the Junior from Pathway. It is Stricer coming out, 2 players down on the side of New Meta though. And this is Pathway's chance to push in. But no! That was a big brush waiting. They did capture that zone with the last 3 players in the process. But I don't think New Meta is very strong in the middle as well, as nobody seems to be playing a zone. Finally, they did something, but the penalty was already applied. And now, New Meta has to start it over again.
Yeah, New Meta in control right there. And hey, there's not that much penalty on them, Hat. They're in a very good spot to extend their points right now. And with the splat on the pencil, they are in a good spot to score a lot right now. 2 down on Pathway. New Meta lost their Tetris, but I don't think they mind. They get the lead. The guy is still there to defend the zone. Everybody will jump their way back in as the Kraken is trying to defend a Pathway, able to repaint the zone, able to apply penalty, but all of New Meta is right here to fight, and Pathway are forced to move back. Oh! Miner, how do you survive? How are you alive, Miner?
Very aggressive plays from New Meta, but it didn't pay off. Pathway survives all of those specials and are now going to push in, capture that zone, and looking to get that penalty removed. Tacticooler does go out on the side of New Meta, and that's how they're going to defend the zone. Hopefully, the 2 players go down and can make the late third with the 96, waiting to get the drop on Lulu. When they jump back in, instantly goes back to the respawn, and no Tacticooler to get quickly respawned here. Now Pathway almost done with the penalty. Pathway almost done, and now it's going to push for points again. And that lead is not too far off. Kraken being used by New Meta to defend that zone, but it is no use. The lead has been swapped again here, Pat, and Pathway is looking for the victory with only 15 ticks remaining.
Oh yeah, and right now New Meta know they need to paint the zone. They don't have much time. Pathway trying to get that KO, trying to seal the deal. 2 down on New Meta. Pathway holding strong, are going to get their victory, are going to get the 3-2-1 and go to the finals.
Very aggressive display from Pathfinder, waiting, maybe a little bit late, but definitely showing their strength. New Meta, unfortunately, with the disconnect in game number 3, forced them a loss they couldn't recover from, as they did their best, but it is Pathway going towards the finals. But what a play did both of the teams make. But I think New Meta was playing a bit too aggressive on this round. They were playing it a little bit too risky. And I know you had to risk it because, you know, it is 2-1. But they may want to slow down a little bit because maybe it was frustration. Maybe they gave up. I don't exactly know. I didn't hear the voice. I don't think they gave up. That's not like these players. But no, I think they played just a bit too aggressive, and that did cost them a lot because they were pushing in so incredibly deep sometimes that they were just getting splattered purely for existing on the position they were existing on. And I think if they just held back a little bit more, they could hold some more defense, and that's where Pathway definitely caught them off guard multiple times.
I mean, that's New Meta's playstyle. They go into more fight. That's what they want to do. That's how they like to play. Pathway found the counter to that, and that's the story of it. I mean, New Meta is a team that goes so fast. Finding the counter to all of these flanks at all of that speed is a big deal. Like, it's Pathway really popping off right there, and New Meta, they've managed to go through so many different games. I think their strategy is good. It's just that today Pathway was incredibly solid and managed to really take control of the map.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. Indeed, New Meta does have a funky playstyle, and it sometimes does pay off. I mean, they always consistently make it far into the tournaments. You don't get seed number 1 for no reason. It's still a very strong seed, and it's still a very strong team. You saw what they can do. They can create nuisance and carnage and just be an absolute menace on the field. But unfortunately, today was not their day. We see Pathfinder against Frutella. Frutella won 3-1 as well. So let's see if these two titans are going to give each other a challenge, or that maybe one team just might be having might be having a one-sided match. Though, looking at what Pathway just fought against and looking how Frutella played earlier, I don't think we're going to get a dominant match because the two teams are both fighting to be dominant. So that will definitely equal each other out.
We are... Oh wait, we're already in the lobby. We're already ready to go in, so I guess we don't get a break. And we're going to start with Flounder Heights, a map that I love to watch. Honestly, it's always such a fun map. When you watch team of that level, they know how to get a comeback on this map. They know how to push onto this map, and it creates such high intensity games because it still takes a lot of resources and time to get back on top mid. You really see huge swings in points, and I love to see these kind of games.
Yeah, I'm just more wondering right now is what the strategies are these teams are going to deploy, because we just saw what Pathway does and it's playing a little bit slower, playing a little more carefully. But Frutella, looking back at how they played earlier, they are a fast team. They do like to get dominant in the first fight and just set their foot into the ground and hold on to that. So I'm wondering how these two are going to clash in the center of the map here, because, well, like you said, Flounder Heights, you have big swings, you have a lot of those big fights, especially on the bridge, but that little bit of the area below is going to be crucial to hold on to as well, or at least watch out for, because a single Dapple duelist or just a splatter shot really down there is just can instantly wipe out your team if you're not too careful.
Yeah, anything can happen on here. Let's get in the game. Let's see how it goes. Two of our teams, and remember, this is a golden paddling pool. We don't have a low bracket. This is do or die. Everything is on that finals.
Yeah, no bracket reason either for both of these teams, because they are just coming from the winners semi-finals as well. But like you said, semi-elimination, everything is to play here for golden paddling pool badges, what you want to earn, and of course 330th edition victory is also bragging rights for sure. Both teams capture their respective zone, but it is Frutella pushing up. Is Frutella getting two splats, looking at the third, but no, a pencil might be a little bit too difficult for a slosher. Frutella does hold on to the zones first, get both zones and start pushing for points, but that mid fight is not over yet. 3 players down on the side of Pathway, and that might just secure the deal as the junior also respawned, though it was a delayed wipe, and it's Frutella in a sweep 40 seconds that captures the first zone.
Great control right there by Frutella. Frutella holding very strong Pathway, trying to find their way in. I just noticed they have a Tri-Slasher, that new Tri-Slasher that is deploying the splatter scholar screen, allowing them to get back onto the zone. And they managed to paint one, but it's double zone. You need to paint both zone, and they lose 2 players. Zekrom dancing on there, trying to survive, is going to be sent back to spawn. It's a wipeout. And Frutella managed to keep control of their own zone hat, which means they're scoring more points.
Like I said, getting their foot in the ground early game and holding on to it. Big spell on the crab tank, however. Both sides, it is a slasher down against a splash-o-matic down. But Pathway only having 25 ticks remaining. They have to go in fast. They have to do something, or at least neutralize so to stop Frutella from scoring points. It's only 10 ticks remaining now, and they have no way in. Big booyah and 3 players down on the side of Pathway. Is game over. From one dominant team to another, 100-0. Frutella set their foot in the ground here early.
I mean, one thing to say is this is very much a map that has been, to me, Frutella's special. Frutella's really home turf. This is the map that they've practiced more than any other team, because they like to play on it. They've been practicing this map. They know how this map plays, they know how this map moves, and they know how to fight on this map better than anyone. And I mean, it shows. It really shows the level of confidence they can have in here. No wonder they put it on their list right there. Pathway were able to fight well, were able to push in, but that's the curse of the double zone. You need to take both zones. Frutella were able to keep control, which means, yeah, as you see, as you said, it's a 100-0. That was control by Frutella.
I think it also doesn't help that Flounder Heights is one of the few maps where you really have to push into a massive high ground, which, as much as I love the map, I don't know why it's designed like that, because it's, especially in a game of Splatoon, where height is literally everything, it's so incredibly difficult to push that routes are also very obvious to defend for Frutella as well. So maybe it was a little bit of luck from Flounder Heights, but that early game Frutella definitely showed more strength than Pathway was throwing, and also in the defensive pushes, Frutella was at the right place at the right moment. So I'm not gonna say that they had luck, because they're very, very strong, but the map definitely helped a little bit. However, this one, you push towards lower ground because the map is flat as hell, with a lot of places up top for you to attack from. So let's see if they can also find their victory with 100-0 on a lower map like this, or if Pathway will secure the 1-1.
And right now, Frutella are going very strong onto the map. The Craftam is deployed, as well as the Tactical. They get 2 splats, they're already in. And I mean, Pathway are stuck on their spawn, trying to find a way back in. Frutella forcing their way forward with the S-Blast, getting 3 splats right there. That is huge. Frutella has full control. Hat.
They're not letting go this map anytime soon. Not 100-0 because 3 points are scored on the side of Pathway, but they're still showing a lot of dominance, even more than they showed last game. Tristar coming out from Pathway to at least neutralize it, so but it has no use. It has no use. Frutella just has a counter to everything. Zone somehow captured in a sneaky cap by Pathway just to apply penalty onto Frutella, but they lost 3 players and they lost all 4. Wipe out on the field, unexpected. That's for sure. Pathway finally getting a sweet taste of controlling the zone in the finals. That's going to be a tough one to swallow, but they have a lot of ways to go. Pat 36 score to beat, and Pathway Frutella already looking fired up to get that sweet recapture.
Yeah, Frutella are taking back control over the zone. The Pathway are all around, ready to paint it back. Zekrom with a pencil, forced to dodge over. Crabtax is deployed by Punchy, getting a lot of control and paint right there, and a splat to go with that. Frutella takes back control, but I mean, Pathway were able to get their way back into the zone to get a lot of paint, and with 2 players down on Frutella, Punchy is kind of forced to dance around right there. Specs gets the splat with the Stamper, and all of Pathway are next to the zone. That Booyah Bomb should give them... Oh, wait, no! They'll lose everybody. It's only Miner, and Frutella is taking back the zone. They don't have that much penalty, and they have control. Hat.
Yeah, I think if you're Miner there, of course you don't want to push in. I was looking at like, why are they not pushing in? But then I saw the pencil looking and watching over them, trying to find Miner. Yeah, this is so much sludge. I don't think you want to push him. You want to push that pencil. Both teams this game now, Pat, definitely not closer to each other. The fight is a lot more centralized on the midpoint. Frutella, however, is still holding onto the zone. Thrasher coming out, trying to defend. 2 players down on the side of Pathway, though. It is no use again. Not 100-0, so the map helped a little bit last game, but still another KO for Frutella, giving themselves an early match point status. And Pathway, they had a better game, but they definitely have to speed it up a little bit more, because going like this, you're not going to last much longer.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Pathway get back onto the zone. We saw Pathway win a few more fights, being able to take some control, being able to get good moves. But in the end, Frutella were able to get back on the zone, were able to win more fights and have more control over the zone right there. I mean, Pathway is a great team, and I'm glad they deserve to be in this final so much. But in the end, Frutella is kind of a final boss of Battling Pool right now, showing them how hard it is to get the crown.
Yeah, this Battling Pool, of course, never easy. With teams like Frutella on the lookout, it's only more difficult than you may be expecting. Pathway already very strong to begin with, so you can only imagine what Frutella is capable of. Maybe such a big difference between Seed 2 and Seed 4. I don't know. Seed 4 did beat Seed 1, so it doesn't really matter that much anymore. But yeah, two wins already, match point status, such strength on display here. Umai Ruins is the final or potential final game in this tournament. Another 2-zone map, and we saw what it did to Pathway in the first one, and it's gonna be tough this time. My Ruins is a little bit more difficult to get out of your spawn, and looking at how Frutella plays, and especially what specials they run, they are very confident to keep the enemy at bay, and I think that's exactly the strategy they're going to apply here as well.
Yeah, I mean, Frutella is so hard to fight against. They move so fast, they're so well coordinated, and they always have an answer to whatever situation comes onto them. Right now, Pathway, I mean, they've been grinding, they've been climbing the ranks, but they're still facing that wall that is Frutella. But they haven't, I don't think they've beaten Frutella in a set yet. But I mean, each time they look a bit stronger. It could happen at some point. Today it looks pretty rough for them. But they're still fighting, they're still in there, going on to Umami Ruins, another double zoned map. We'll see how they're able to do.
Like you said, Pathway looks stronger every time they evolve, they adapt, and they're fighting like Frutella is 2 players down on their side. Pathway now opening that map, opening that control of the zone. They are looking at what Frutella was doing and said, okay, we can do this too. They lost 2 players, but they did not lose the zone. That's more important. The objective is the way to victory. And Frutella finally setting their foot into the door, neutralizing it with Pathway here, Pat, looking very strong in this early one.
Yeah. Great moves right there by Pathway. They're still in control of this map. Mondi maintaining the paint on the zone, but with 2 players down, they'll have to move back a little bit. Again, all they need to do is keep 1 zone if they want to avoid the penalty, as Frutella is trying to go in, trying to paint the zones right there. Nice control right here with still 1 zone versus 1 zone. Zekrom getting the short range splat, that's huge. Pathway keeping the zones, keeping the score going up, putting more and more points in.
Definitely put a 180 on that one. I did not expect them to do this well. They're defending with everything they've got, and Frutella just does not know how to respond to this. The blaster goes down, so does the Slosher. Finally, his own neutralized on the side of Frutella, or for Frutella, but it does not last for long. Frutella, though, finally capturing that zone. 22 to score to beat Wipeout on the side of Pathway 2. This might just be bad news, as the Wipeout was slow, so respawn times effectively are going to be very long. And Frutella is not wasting a single second, instantly going into that opposing spawn, instantly setting up defense there with the Crab Tank and a Bubbler.
Yeah, that Booyah Bomb is going to deny the Crab Tank, though Frutella lost 2 players. Mondi trying to get onto the zone is going to be punished, but all of Pathway are next to the zones now, ready to paint it, but the fight is raging on. Mondi getting one with Virginia, looking to get a second, but is now focusing on the zones. 1 zone is taken. We are dead even right now, and Pathway applies penalty. We're halfway through the game, and Pathway is in the lead.
Yeah, Pathway is holding on for dear life, but they're not gonna give up just yet. Didn't come this far to get 3 out, at least get 1 above the opposing team. Still in control, still holding on. Penalty is slowly but surely ticking away. The lead, however, that's more important, because that's still in their hands, and that's can be game deciding. 2 minutes left-ish, a little bit more onto the clock, and both teams are fighting for dear life under the zone. 2 players down on the side of Pathway, though, with a couple specials out. Frutella will take this one. 3 players down. I think it might also be an effective delay to wipe. Slosher jumps back to spawn to save their progress on the special path. Frutella took a mean push here, but can they hold it? That's the question.
I mean, they need to hold it. They already lost their bucket, though, as Pathway are finding their way back into mid already, trying to get back the zone. Zekrom not able to find the splat with the pencil. But ooh, there's a lot of trades going into down on Frutella. Pathway could very well, yes, they do reapply penalty, and with less than 2 minutes in the game, and 3 players down on Frutella, it looks like Pathway are gonna get control back.
Still in control, or back in control indeed. Frutella, however, did score a couple more points off their point list as well. It's 37 now and not 45. So slowly but surely they are withering away back towards that lead. But Pathway now again, good defense, getting 2 players down as well. And look at that, their penalty is now gone. They're starting to score points again. They're starting to push even further and further. 2 players are down inside of Pathway, but Frutella's taking their time to push in. And that's good, because that lead just upgraded from 22 to 8. 2 players down again on the side of Pathway. This zone will go to Frutella, but can they hold it from 37 and a 38 penalty to a KO, or at least to 7, as how aggressive Pathway is playing? It might be difficult, and I don't know how, but Frutella Pet still has not captured those zones!
They still haven't right now. They're able to apply penalty, but with 15 seconds left, you need to do more than that. They need to take full control, but they lose their players. Pathway holding on, staying on the map, and with 5 seconds left, Frutella can't make up a zone, but we haven't got the other zone. It's too late. Pathway saving that game right there, not letting Frutella capture.
Luckily for Pathway, even if they captured, they still had overtime. And how was that not captured? How was that not captured by Frutella? They waited for the last second. Cheeky little fist bump too. But Pathfinder or Pathway, what a game here. They were fighting their way to victory, and they found one. Pathway is not away yet. That was crazy. I don't know how, but they just straight up 180 that from 2 losses to a very, very I would say actually pretty dominant victory, if you ask me. They were holding on. They were really holding on here.
They had great control. Each of their players got a pop-off at some point, got the moves that really allowed them to take momentum, to take the zones. Incredible play by Pathway right there. But, I mean, they need to win 2 more games. They've shown that Frutella can bleed. They've shown that they can take games off of them now. They need to do it again. And we're going to go on to Hagglefish Market.
I think if there are 2 maps to close out a set like this, Hagglefish Market and Mako Mart will be my choice as well. I don't think you can get any better than that, especially in that order too. But the Hagglefish Market is gonna be difficult for Pathway, I think. Frutella showing so much strength on both Mako Mart and Flounder Heights. That's a very similar layout as Mai Mai is a Hagglefish. The layout of the map at the center is not too difficult, only 2 giant walls in the middle. The surrounding gets stone, but Frutella, I think, has a little bit of an upper hand in terms of layout. However, Pathfinder morale is high, and that's almost as important as the map layout. Both don't really have a lot of effect, but still.
One team's name is Frutella. What is the name of the other team?
Pathway.
Can you say that name again?
Pathway.
Can you say that name again?
Yeah, Pathway. It's Path.
Yes, it's Pathway.
It's Pathway. It's you. It's you. Okay, then Path, lead us the way into this match.
Alright, and we're bringing back the same comp for these 2 teams. I mean, these are the comps that they've been playing with, that they've been showing how good they can be. On here, as, Mondi with a Junior again. I'm not sure how Mondi is able to get so many fights with a Junior, but I guess it's working, and the zone is blue right now for Pathway. As Frutella are not really able to take the control they used to.
Yeah, Frutella is definitely a little bit slower after that first one. Tristrike coming out into the buoy bomb. The player somehow survives that. Gets a pretty decent buoy off either to hold onto that zone. Tristrike coming out for even more defense, and he's delaying the capture from Frutella. And it is successful, scoring a singular extra point onto that zone. Frutella finally gets their foot under the ground here. 57, however, a very, very respectable opening for Pathway. They're slowing it down a little bit to get some splash in. Blaster playing too aggressively though, and gets punished heavily by that. Luckily, I think they had the tactical cooler on, so it didn't matter that much. Respawn was quick, but still not the way to go. But looking at how Frutella's defending, that lead is about to be swapped.
Right now, that's lead for Frutella. Pathway finding their way. Oh! getting punished right away. Punchy huge moves right there, and that's the blaster to seal the deal. Frutella keeps control of the zone, keeps control of the map. The bubbler is so far away from the zone right now, and the strikes is shredding that bubble. I mean, Pathway fighting as hard as they can to get next to the zone. Mondi is behind everybody with the Booyah Bomb. Can they cap? Yes, they're able to stay alive. And with 2 down, it looks like Pathway are able to have a foothold onto the zone.
These players definitely not giving up, not until the very last second. That's what I like to see. That's what Splatoon is all about. You can turn the tides even when there's not, even looks like there's nothing left to gain. They put a big penalty on Frutella. Even if they lost the zone now, they still have a bit of breathing room, but don't make too many mistakes now, Pathway. You don't have that much time left, and there is almost no room or margin for error, as they do not have a game to fall back on. It is match point for Frutella. Pathway again in control of that zone, again pushing a bit forward, getting rid of the blaster too. That blaster does seem to get splattered quite a lot as of late, and it's gonna help Pathway on the defense. They're gonna have Pathway in the offense too. Blaster down again! That's exactly what I'm saying. They're doing beautifully on the defense. Tri-strike coming in, net neutralize, then instantly dive back in and recapture it. That's what we like to see here, Pat, as Pathway is defending with their life to get that lead back.
Have that control, they're looking for that lead, but Frutella is coming in incredibly strong. That's 3 players down, that's a wipeout. Frutella takes back control with 2 minutes left in the game. They have a huge lead, but that also means they have a big penalty.
And that penalty might just be the savior of Pathway now. It gives some time to build up special. That Stamper has Booyah Bomb at the ready. It can be used any second. Counter Booyah from Frutella. Used a little bit early. Tacticooler goes out. This is where you might want to pop that Booyah Bomb. Crab Tank defending for Frutella as well. But no! Too aggressive. The blaster pushing in. Counting on the fact that they can get that Stamper, and they did. Even the Tacticooler, the Booyah is not gone. No penalty is remaining for Frutella. Pathway has to dive in now. Booyah Bomb, Tri-strike coming out, but it is no use. They're painting with their lives, but it was not enough, and it is Frutella taking game number 4 and crowning themselves as Paddling Pool 330 champions.
Great plays by Frutella right there. Shoutouts to Pathway, honestly, they managed to reach that finals, to show the fight, to bring the fights to Frutella, but in the end Frutella a bit more confident, a bit faster, a bit fighting a bit harder as well, were able to get full control of the zone to win this Paddling Pool.
Pathfinder, I definitely think they did a 180 in this after the 3rd game. No, in the 3rd game, I don't know what happened, but suddenly they just started playing super aggressive, and it paid off for them. So they have learned, even if they have not won, I think they have learned a lot for themselves as a team, and that's sometimes as important. And they did a very good job fighting that Titan that is Frutella. You don't want to mess with those guys, even if they did win this tournament. But what a set of finals. The semifinals and the real winners finals were both great sets, and this is exactly what I love about Splatoon. You can turn it around, you can get some crazy dominations, but always keep on fighting until the very last second. This is exactly how I like to see my Paddling Pool, and I don't think Paddling Pool 330 could have ended in any better way than such a hype finals.
Yeah, that was once again a great Paddling Pool, a great golden Paddling Pool that we had to watch. And yeah, I mean, it's been a pleasure to watch that with you, Hat. And before we go, can you plug yourself?
Yes, you can find me at @casterhat on Twitter, and also at casterhat.blueskysocial, I believe is the default Blue Sky tag. Though I don't use social media that much, I do occasionally post something. Definitely give me a follow there. And Pat, what about you? Where can we find you on the socials?
Well, it's written on your screen right there at PatGeomStorm. At Blue Sky is the best way to find me. And before we go, I'd like to give a special shout out to our wonderful observer, Joe Ryan, always doing a banger job of showing us these games and these replays as well. Great job by Joe Ryan. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.